Bearcat Bounce podcast, back at it again. It's a Monday. It's a Monday where I will sadly say it's a Monday following another loss, the third straight for the Bearcats, but a weird feel for the third straight. We'll dive in completely to what happened late night Friday in Provo, Utah. This is BYU Cougars. We'll break that down. It's also a Monday where it's somewhat the halfway point of the season, if you will. It's a bye week upcoming for the Bearcat football team, and we're somewhat midway. So we're going to dive in a little bit on the season up to now and the season that yet to come. It's also a Monday where we're a little bit closer to the start of basketball season. Schedule drop, times of certain games drop, excitement around the program building. It's also a Monday where we get to break down Bearcats. We get to break down this week in Taylor Swift's saga with Travis Kelce. Aaron, I know you're excited for that part. It's also a Monday where I get to bring in my guys, my pals, the squad. We're back again. That's right. Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, Ryan Royer. Gentlemen, how are we?
I'm here.
That you are, baby.
Rough week in the Brendel household, but, be all right. We're doing good.
Everything all right?
6 months.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we're doing all right.
Well,
as all right as we can be.
Hopefully we can take your mind off for a couple hours, right?
Yep.
Here we go. Aaron, sir, how are we?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Nothing big.
Okay.
Dealing with hand, foot, and mouth here in our household right now. So
Sounds
that's
fun.
Not awesome.
Sounds fun. Mr. Royer, sir, how are we? Is that a haircut I see? Oh,
You're
yeah,
on
you're
mute,
muted.
bub.
Come on, man. Jesus. Oh, now he just leaves.
Wrong button. So, yeah, I got a little cut on Thursday last week. Shout out the king. I'm all right. I mean, I went and saw my brother play up at Brown, which was a great time. They won. It's a fun weekend up in Providence. Besides staying up till like damn near 2 a.m. on Friday watching another kind of unbelievable game. It was another dark weekend in Cincinnati sports. Reds eliminated. Bengals helped the Browns out yet again.
Bengals eliminated.
Yeah. That's the best when they tweet out eliminated first couple of weeks. Yeah, then the Bearcats too. Yeah, I'm all right though.
Yeah. Is that your brother far right in that picture on the old X.com, if you know what I'm talking about? Brown, I think you retweeted it or someone retweeted it. I'll pull up the pic later. It looks exactly like you, but like a Brown student. So figured it was you far right. But yeah, well there we go. I am in Florida as we can tell with the new background, and Aaron, a little bit of a bug going around. I woke up like 2 a.m. feeling a little, off of it this morning. But hey, we're back, baby. We're back. We're good. I don't know if it's hand, foot, eye, nose, mouth, shoulders, knees, and toes. Who knows, man? But
was it this picture?
We are here, and no, that's not. Wow, that's not it.
That is my brother, but that's when we were a long time ago.
Holy moly!
Son of a bitch!
Buckeye fans, baby.
Wow! Did someone send that to you?
Yeah, look at that.
That's not good.
Oh, that's a Cincy jersey.
That's a bad look, Royer.
Hey, I told you guys I was a Buck. My dad went there. We were big Buckeye fans. Hey, things change, People change, new experiences come.
Okay.
I had to give you help for that though. Somebody sent it to me like, make sure Royer answers for this on Monday.
That's funny. Hey, yeah, I'm not gonna hide from it. That was the reality about what would that be? I'm 25, like 8 years ago. So yeah. 7, 8 years ago.
Royer, you retweeted it. That fella.
Yeah, that's my brother right there. Yep.
There we go.
Ethan
there we go.
Plays linebacker for the Brown Bears.
The Brown Bears.
A good fifth year. Yeah, their team looks a lot better than recent years. So
Okay. Well, that's good. Should we get the Taylor Swift talk out now, Aaron, or should we hold off till the end on this one? Oh, yeah.
Let me know when you do, because I want nothing to do with it.
Okay, sounds good. We'll save it for a surprise time. We'll bounce it in. You know what? If you're driving down the street and you're listening to this pod and you are of the same feeling as that Aaron has towards the Taylor Swift saga that is taking place with Travis Kelce, then you might drive into a pothole or rub up against the shoulder a little bit too tight, bang up the car a little bit before you got to
drive into the divider.
Right, exactly, and maybe intentionally in Aaron's case, because it's just like
Yeah.
doggone it, got to go to Danco Transmission and Auto Care to talk to Danco Joe about this craziness. But yeah, head over there. He'll hook you up. Danco Joe, he's the man, the myth, the legend, as we all know. Get 10% off your next fixing. Get $10 off your next oil change. Head over to Danco. Mention Aaron, Chad, Royer. Mention, I don't know. What are they saying? Swelsey? Is that the name we're rolling with? Swelsey? I think. Pretty sure. Or Co-Wift, maybe. Who knows? But head over there, mention that to Danco Joe. He'll hook you up, get you all the things you need. Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Man, speaking of fixing, we got to dive right into it. I know it took place late Friday night. I mean, in essence, that was a Saturday game. It was just a really early Saturday game. 35-27 final score. A weird one in Provo. We've already kind of hinted at it a little bit, but you outgain the Cougars 498 yards to 295. You gain 9 more first downs than them. You run 31 more plays than them. And you have 10 more minutes in time of possession than the Cougars, but you still fall 35-27. As always, general thoughts, feelings, now that we're 3 days removed from it. I know Chad and Aaron, you kind of have dove into this a little bit, but I guess Royer, I'll pass to you for opening remarks that you were feeling early in the morning. A tough, weird game.
Yeah, just kind of another just unbelievable type. Like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. One, when you pull up the stat sheet, kind of what you just alluded to, and then just total yardage again, where you don't even score 30 points, yet you have damn near 500 yards of offense.
Mm-hmm.
And the defense played as good as it did. I mean, you spot them 14 points, and then spot them 14 points with the pick six and the muff punt on the 15, damn near. And then you throw in, all right, the defense lets up that 45-second drive before half, which I thought was the turn of the tides, really, in the game, where you can just dominate
drastically.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You dominate a team, like, just in every. I mean, I guess the offense wasn't dominating like a ton, but just across the board, just playing well, playing good enough to be winning, and holding their offense to like what did Slovis have, like 36 yards before that drive passing?
No, I think it was
they had 38 yards offense, right?
He had
yeah,
2
yards. Yeah.
2.
And then you end up losing. It's
annoying.
You can't lose. It is. It's just like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't. It's not. I was surprised, but when you look bigger picture, let's think here. We got how many new guys starting on each side of the ball, new coaching staff. I mean, I can't say that that's not impossible to happen. When you got all those new culture, new staff, new players playing with each other, when the tides turn in a away environment, a tough place to play, and then you're like, oh, now you're looking back, you're like, yeah, somehow we fucking lost that game in the second half, which bad mistakes, just another not a great performance by Emery, which I thought he was going to have to really kind of take us on his back, so to say, just play really well to go in there and have us win the game. But I don't know.
He didn't play poorly. the pick six was a bad decision on a weird play. Like essentially the corner just freelanced and decided I'm not going to play man. I'm going to sit down here and not take my guy like through the crossing pattern. But other than, I mean, he had 100 yards rushing, 94 yards rushing, 250 yards passing. He was at like 62% completion.
Yeah.
Like objectively, he had a pretty good game, but it's what we talked about, Ryan. You're playing teams of equal talent. You cannot throw a pick six and have the punt muff for I still my brain wants to break when I think about.
We'll get to that play. We will get to that play.
But your odds of winning are like this. No matter how much you outplay them, how much you outgain them, if you give a team with equal talent 14 points, they're gonna win 90% of the time. It feels
because it's not we're not the Cincy of 2 years ago.
You're not the American anymore, Toto.
Yeah. Well, I also just don't think we don't have the caliber to kind of absorb stuff like that right now. I don't think we're playing complementary football. I think we've yet to have a game when everyone really puts it together. I don't really count EKU. Oh, well, I guess Pitt we played. I thought we played like
was really
three.
well.
Thought we played around 3 good quarters versus Pitt, all in all. But when you go on the road at BYU, you're like you said, you can't give them 14 points. You got to play complementary football. The offense, defense, special teams have to come together and just the stars have to align because you're going to play good. You're going to absorb adversity. And I guess when I say I kind of have set this standard for Emory because the first 2 weeks I saw him make throws that he made it look easy. And like I expected him to be able to make those throws. And we need him to kind of step up and hit some of those balls that I thought he missed that could have been big plays. Especially we've seen now the past 2 weeks. And not that I think he's playing bad. I think, his run game has helped us a lot, but I kind of wanted him to carry us, step up, make some big throws, and try to come out of Provo with a win. And now we're kind of sitting back and seeing how the fuck did we lose? I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard for me to we just never
That was the hottest of all takes. He took himself right out. My goodness.
Yeah. Where'd he go?
I don't know. He took himself.
Yeah, I thought you guys kicked him out. I was like,
nope.
All right, I'm sick of this. But
nope.
No, he'll be back.
He's not even in the lobby.
Nope, he is. He's all the way gone.
Wow. I mean, dude,
I've never me putting that picture up of him in the Buckeye jersey.
That might have been it. That might have been it. Yeah, what number was that jersey too? Was that like a custom made Royer jersey for the Buckeyes? That's what it looked like.
I don't know.
25 maybe. I was like, interesting. But let's talk a little. Oh, there he is. There he is.
I thought my shit's been pissing me off the past 3 weeks, dude.
You rage quit on us.
I don't know why I keep during the controller. It will just start bugging out. I don't know if my internet just goes shitty when my dumbass roommates turn on our smart TV with their laptops and their phone.
They answer the landline and it kicks you off. Yeah.
Just the old shit like that.
Yeah. Hey, don't answer that phone. I'm podcasting. But yeah, no, Royer, you were kind of you were rolling, and we're going to continue to roll. But I do want to touch on that pick six. Yes, I know it was weird that corner kind of drifted off of his man and kind of playing like a random zone and then being right in the area where Emory decided to throw the ball. But there was, if you look at that replay, there's 5 BYU guys there and only D. Wiggins. It just seemed like it was a predetermined pass. Like maybe that's the design of the play was going there. Obviously, Wiggins falls down.
What's supposed to happen? Like the read just didn't happen. Like it's the week. Like
right.
It's supposed to. Like they showed man. Everybody played man except Rogers, I think was his name, and he just stopped and sat there and waited. Like he didn't like. I don't know if it was just like an instinctual read or if he got lost in like what the defensive assignment was supposed to be and he ended up in the right place. But like they showed everybody else, like they zeroed in on the play. Everybody else is playing man. The one crosser goes through, and the defender on the crosser on the right just sat down and waited for the throw. I don't know, like maybe it was something on tape.
Yeah. Well,
But you're taking
my
a
thought is if
hell of
you
a
see
risk
that, I mean, I
find
don't
the
know
other
if you're
guy. But
Yeah,
Henry said he didn't
right.
see him until the ball was coming out of his hand.
right.
Like he read the play. That guy's not supposed to be there. So he's got Wiggins coming across. Wiggins does the right thing and sits down.
He sat all the way down.
He's-
He was on the ground.
But he saw the guy there, so he tries to sit down in the middle of the zone, and Emery is reading what did I mean? I don't know. It was a weird.
It was a weird play.
Like situation.
Evan was wide open, who I guess would probably be the guy
That guy left him.
Yeah, that left him. He was,
Like he just stopped. He
probably would have scored his first touchdown as a receiver if he would have
85-yard touchdown
real fast. Yeah, I mean it was just a weird play and one of those where instantly when he picks it off, you're like, all right, that's a touchdown. I mean,
oh, that was 6 easy.
Unless Hercules shows up on the field and tracks him down, there's no way.
Let that guy from Georgia that. No.
Yeah. Or Josiah DeGuara catches him on the backside. The chase down.
UCLA,
baby. Royer, you saw the pick six. Just a weird broken play that just broke BYU's way, you think?
I mean, I guess, but like I don't know how open the guy even was to begin with. Like you were saying, it might have been a catch tackle. It might have been a PBU on the defense. And there was two guys kind of pinching him from the side and like coming at his back hip. I just was like, and then the guy's standing right in the window. I just like, you can't do that. Like we are not going to win. We are not going to win games when you do
and
that
the safety
shit.
over the top too. Like it was just
you can't throw a goddamn pick six the first drive of the game in the Big 12 at fucking BYU. Like
But they recovered from it. Like they bounced
I know
back.
I know. I guess they did bounce back, but it's just like.
And then they make another soul crushing mistake later.
I don't know. I just feel like we always like. We play well enough to just like stick around, but we don't make the big, it just feels like we aren't making the big play or the big drive. We're making the big mistake.
Yep.
And it's like, we'll make the big mistake. They'll be like, all right, we'll like flutter around to kind of like not get like suffocated out of the game. But we don't like ever, if we make a mistake, we don't ever just like flip the fucking script back and like have 3 good drives to go grab a lead or just play consistent football, like 3 drives in a row or like 2 quarters in a row to kind of really hammer home a victory. We only really did that versus fucking Pitt, and Pitt's dog shit now. They look terrible.
Dreadful.
They're bad.
So bad.
They're very bad. I mean, Virginia
and
Tech
we have the capability. We
Yeah.
have the capability. It just, I don't know, man. It just feels like, I don't know offense. I don't know their scheme. It just feels like for some reason, the foot just comes off the gas. There's like maybe like 2 plays in a row or 2 drives in a row. Because like you'll see that and you're like, why don't we go back to these concepts? Like, because they have the players to make the plays. They have the scheme. You'll just see it like boom, 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 like 3 plays in a row or like a whole drive of just good shit. And then it'd be just like offense just will go missing for 2 drives, especially when we need them the most.
Mhm.
I thought the defense played well. Like literally they got spotted. I predicted them giving up 21 points as a sense. And I thought that'd be plenty good enough. And I think that's what should have happened. They could have gave up less. They played good enough to give up less. You just, if you don't make mistakes on that touchdown before the half.
Yeah.
I missed this time. We've had more blown coverage MAs than we should this season too. That's something that I thought would be kind of corrected by now, but it keeps showing up at bad times.
Yeah.
I don't
I mean,
know.
So that next drive after the pick six, that was when you drive into BYU territory, and then it's 3rd and 2. People talk about the 4th and 1 pass to Peyton Singletary that kind of bounced off his hands, was a little hot out of Emery's arms and out of Emery's arm, but it was 3rd and 2 right before that, and Kiner only picked up 1 up the middle, and one of those situations again where it's 3rd and short. Pick up the first down, you don't have to go with that 4th down situation. But either way, still the Peyton Singletary and the flats pass was probably a little hot, but probably needed to be caught. It was kind of an awkward adjustment, but I don't know. Just there was obviously another one of these later on in the game. It was just a weird type of situation there, but still, 4th and 1. If you pick it up on 3rd down, you're probably answering right away. But even still, situation that.
Yo,
Help me out here. As a defense, isn't that exactly what you want in that situation? A pass to the short side of the field with like this much of a window for success.
yeah. I mean, if I'm on defense, I'm thinking they're gonna run the ball twice in a row. It's gonna be damn fucking hard to stop them for 2 total yards on 2 run plays. That's my if I'm on defense, I'm like, we need to stop the fucking run because they're just going to run the ball twice. Either 1 run, 1 sneak, or 2 power runs. But I mean, that's what you have to do. We need an offensive line and a running back / quarterback combination, whatever we want to do there, that can get the 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 4s damn near nowadays because a lot of offense and good territories on the field. And just another kind of like thing you can't run 2 plays and get 1 yard, especially when you're trying to have a bounce back possession following the worst way to start a game.
Yeah. It's a weird time, but they did get a bounce back after the defense held again. Shimon Mateer getting his first touchdown catch of the season, and he looked good.
Yeah.
Looked unbelievable in this game.
Looked really
kind
athletic.
of a coming out party, if you will. Definitely one of the biggest positives heading into the bye week and then the latter half of the season. But yeah, he had the touchdown catch, his first of 2 on the night. Looked great. I mean, this is the Shimon that we all expected heading into the season, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still like another thing I was thinking, like we rushed for how many yards? Like over 200 yards.
Yeah.
Almost
And like if
250.
you rush for 250, like how do you fucking lose? Like just to be honest.
You don't
I-
score
I'm
touchdowns.
serious.
I
I
agree.
know. It's just like how it just doesn't make sense to me. It's just I guess the yardage total of points. I think we might be like one of the worst teams Can anyone?
I think they have the number 4 offense in the Big 12, and they can't score points.
I've got some stats. Believe me, I'm ready for the end of the season. But yeah, they are. If you want that one right now, it's so they
let's hear
they are 4th in the Big 12, but they're actually 14th in all of college football, averaging 490 yards per game. UCF, Oklahoma, and TCU are ahead of Cincinnati in the Big 12.
Oh, dude, we need like a metric. We need a metric that's like offensive points scored, defensive points allowed, offensive yards per game. Because like I think we'd be like what historically bad. Because we've not given up a yard of yards and points on D, and we've gotten a lot of yards on O, and we have no fucking points. It's just like mind-boggling.
Yeah, another couple quick hits on the end of the first half. We'll go by half and half, and I got some more mind-boggling stats for you, Royer, that we'll do kind of during the recap of the first half of the season. But so that the drive,
it's not actually half, but you're deeming it the halfway mark.
I mean, it's 5 games. There's 12 games. It's a bye week, so I'm pretty much calling it. technically, if we're speaking on technicalities here,
It is not technically half.
right, correct. But the drive before the field goal drive, and then they got it back. There was a false start. Cincinnati lined up to go for it on 4th and 4 on the BYU 40. Just another situation where moving the ball, false start happens, brings you back. Fletch came out and punted and pinned them at the 5-yard line. So maybe that was just a time to let Mason Fletcher be Mason Fletcher. But after that, obviously you get the 3 and out. Then Cincinnati gets the ball back. And the thing about this drive that that ended in the field goal is that it was 1st and 10 on the BYU 21-yard line. If you pick up 1 first down, or you even score a touchdown, or move the ball at all, once you get 1st and 10 on the BYU 21, there's probably zero chance that BYU would have enough time to stage that last quick touchdown drive that really flipped the entire momentum. Instead, it was a Kiner up the middle for 1-yard gain. Then it was an incomplete pass to D that was probably could have been a touchdown over the middle, and then it was a 4-yard gain on 3rd and 9, and that set up the 33-yard field goal from Carter Brown. I don't know. It just seems like maybe you try and run the ball a little bit more there, or try and literally milk the clock out where they're BYU. Even if you do end up with a field goal, BYU gets the ball back with only 15 seconds or 10
I
seconds.
know. I will say though, Brent, like you have to expect your defense to be able to stop someone with like 48 seconds left. Like that should be impossible, especially for a half, because they're not going to be like, and you have that situation. You then have a terrible combination effect of having another terrible MA blown coverage. So it's like you kind of you don't make that happen on offense. You have those like 2 things happen that just like, all right, well, there's another blown opportunity, and you just fucking compound it with a terrible MA on a coverage. It's just like,
let's talk about that final drive.
You can't have both of those. You gotta, if you're gonna have one, you gotta have one. You can't keep, and we keep doing that shit. It's been a common theme.
So on that first play of the drive, they elected to only rush 3, and kind of bring the coverage back and opened up the field a lot. I mean, Slovis probably could have stood back there for 8 seconds if he wanted to. There was no pressure at all on that first play, and that's when he kind of jump started that drive to get them rolling. I don't know. I would have maybe liked to see more pressure on that, at least that first play, because then after that, every play following it was pressure, which then led to the blown assignment on the last touchdown.
It was. I don't know that it was pressure. It was send guys. Guess what? They didn't get a sack the entire game. Pressure. Didn't work at all. So I think that's a little bit of revisionist history, that if you send pressure on that first down, that you're going to get home, because they didn't get home at all.
I like that call concept, though. I like kind of play off a little bit, then they get something, and you're like, all right, now let's throw something at them.
I like it too. I like it. That's what I'm saying. Like the problem there is the first down play is ultimately the deciding play of that drive, because if it's incomplete or if they gain 4 yards, they sit on it and go into halftime. You stop them at the 17. Like they were 83 yards from a touchdown. If they gain 4 yards, if they've got 2nd and 6 with 38 seconds left or whatever, they're just going to go into the half. Like that's the other frustrating thing, I think. Like they have missed on. I mean, I remember at least 2 in the Miami game. Obviously, the 3rd and 19 in the Oklahoma game, where Oklahoma was going to punt. Like, they ran it up the middle, and they were going to punt, and you gave up the first down, and they marched it all the way down the field and got a field goal. And then you had that, where if you get 1 stop on first down, they run it into the half, and you're leading at half, and they don't ever grasp or feel any momentum in a first half. And then you had the touchdown run, 3rd and 13 or whatever, 3rd and 16.
13.
And they are conceding a field goal. We are going to run it up the middle. and take 3, and you give them a touchdown. Like it's almost like every small thing that can go wrong for this team, right? Like the basics of football are going their way.
Yeah.
But every small thing that can change the momentum, change the complexion of a game is going against them 3 games in a row. And if you date back to Pittsburgh second half, and especially fourth quarter, there was a bunch of wild shit that happened in that fourth quarter for Pitt to even be anywhere close.
Yeah.
They're not getting any 50-50 stuff. Like the touchdown where the guy cuts across and takes the pass, they get pressure, he floats it. The wrong guy grabs it and runs for a 60 whatever yard touchdown. If that guy's not there, Brian Kretz has an easy interception. It is going right into his hands. And the guy comes out of nowhere, runs across the grain from where what should have been the play, and takes it for a touchdown. Everything that can go wrong for this team is going wrong. It's wild. It's wild.
It is. I mean, you come out to start the second half, you have an 8-yard gain on first down, where you kind of have a wide open hole, kind of starting to slowly play back. And then you go, and then you don't gain another yard after that, and you punt. It's just like it just compounds, man. And then
Reed,
I would have
think it was
liked
the
to
3.
see them
I think
dial
they were at the 3.
what?
Reed said gives me nightmares thinking about having OU pinned at the 5 and gave up that long first down. I think they were at the 3.
Yeah, they were deep. They were deep back there.
Shouldn't Breath have went and got that? He is not cognizant of the guy that runs from out of nowhere. Like in a perfect world, sure. In like a hindsight is 2020 world, sure. But the guy he's covering that the ball is intended for is incapable of making a play on the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also we've seen threats in the past. I mean, you remember that play last year at Tulsa where he was kind of playing the man more than the ball, and it ended in the 50-50 call of a what's it called? Freaking targeting, and he was thrown out of the game. So maybe it's like he's slowly in his head being like, play the ball a little bit more. I mean, because that was going straight to him. And Keaton Slovis was interviewed after the game. Good job with that quick ban.
Louisville fans are banned immediately. If you're a Louisville fan and you want to talk shit, get the fuck out. You're out.
Louisville fans are all over saying like
I'm done.
I tweeted out about the loss. I'm going to read the stats. It's kind of crazy, but all Louisville fans are like, "Oh, enjoy that. That's what it's going to be like for you." It's like, all right, man, come on.
You have your dream coach. You got rid of Scott Satterfield.
Why are you still thinking about us? Why are you still thinking about us? But yeah,
you're undefeated.
Right?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you worrying about, Scott?
Probably have one of the biggest games of Papa John's Stadium history this Saturday, and you're
going to go 7-5. Congratulations. Go away.
But yeah. I mean, Chad, you mentioned it already. The LJ Martin touchdown on 3rd and 13, where so instead of it being 17-10, it's all of a sudden 21-10. Then of course that next drive is the Kiner in the flat on 3rd and 4 on the BYU 4-yard line. Yet again, another one where it's like same as that Peyton Singletary pass, and it's like
this much room for success. Like this much room.
He would have had to like catch and then quick turn and like to get the ball. It's hard.
I hate throwing to the flat on the short side, like
boundary flat. Yeah.
I hate it.
It's not good.
especially like I love Corey Kiner, but how far down of a pass catching option do you think he is that's on the field in that play? You know what I mean?
Right.
He's got to be probably last. Nothing against him. I'm just saying.
But that's the design of the play is to get to him.
Exactly. It's just weird. I don't know.
So if he's a problem, then he shouldn't have been in. I mean, if he's the guy that
it's for me.
It would be the same if Miles Montgomery was.
I agree. It hit him in both hands. It's inexcusable on Corey Kiner to not catch that ball when it hits you in both hands. It wasn't like the Singletary pass. I don't know. I take issue with anybody who's not blaming Corey Kiner on that play.
Go Marcus Freeman. And thank the Louisville fans for the thousands of views they put on every Scott Satterfield press conference. You miserable fucking losers.
Ruben's going to take care of them, boys.
But yeah, then it brings up that play. Royer, I want to hear your thoughts on that. It was the 59-yard Chase Roberts coming out of nowhere. Keaton Slovis was interviewed after the game. He said he was mentioning how he thought he should have gotten the hands on the face because Debo accidentally touched him. I don't know, whatever. But it was 2nd and 21.
Bitch.
It was 2nd and 21. He just throws it up. He said he had no idea Chase Roberts was even around the area, but that he just he just said a big time player made a big time play, and he did. I mean, wasn't intended for him at all. He swoops in out of nowhere and takes it the distance. Threats. You think playing that the way you should, or do you think he should have came up? It just the whole thing seemed like it was a 5-yard overthrow.
I don't think he knew Roberts. I don't think he knew he was there.
No one did except for Roberts and Jordan Young. Probably
hindsight. Yeah, you do tell him like you would have wished you want to go up and get it. That's what you're taught. I would say go up and get the ball on defense.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna say like that's his fault or anything. It's just, and you'd like to think we can get that guy down though. He doesn't get in the end zone, but
yeah.
I mean, but everything's flowing this way.
Yeah,
and like.
I know.
He catches. He's not supposed to catch it, and he's facing the other way. It's it's like in Grand Theft Auto when you hit that perfect spin out, and you go and you're running from the cops, and now they can't catch you because they're going this way. You're going that way.
Maybe it's a good learning thing.
Tanks are out. Yeah, for sure.
Doesn't happen anymore. Maybe our DBs would use that as a learning point now, but I'm not going to act like it's a critical error.
Hey guys, in case. The quarterback throws a fucking hand grenade, and the guy that's not supposed to even be in the play swoops in and catches it. Here's what you do.
Do you think it was worse than the Pitt one that just got flung up in the air?
Well, but at least that was hand grenaded into an open area. Like there was nobody around that guy within like 20 yards.
Yeah, that was weird. I mean,
yeah.
Like that, this season has come down to a handful of those. Like
we said, we got the coin flips. Chad, it was going to be a lot of coin flips. I didn't know it was going to be this many coin flips on this many fluke plays, and we're all going to lose all of them.
We're losing all of them. We're losing all of them. We are on an impressive, like red-black roulette streak. Like my last time in Vegas. I bet red 9 times in a row and lost every time. Like that's the streak that UC is on right now.
I bet red like 7 times in a row. Got up to $500. Lost it all.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like that's exactly what's happening here. Although the Shaman touchdown was probably it hit red 1 time in the middle of that. But then it hit black every time again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did forget about that one.
Let's talk about Shaman's second touchdown real quick because that's a drive that came following that. 5 plays, 75 yards, 1 minute 54 seconds off the clock, and it ended in that circus catch by Shaman Mateer. Man, that was
probably not a great throw.
Garrett Wilson-esque. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that was all Shaman. He tipped it to himself. Caught it, got. I think he got both.
Butt cheek down.
Yeah, butt cheek down too.
Butt cheek down just in time.
Right. So, I mean, this is Shaman, man, the Shaman show, and awesome to see that. But of course, that would have then you would think flip momentum completely on the side of the Bearcats.
28-20, you get a stop. I think it was 3 and out. They might have got.
It was a 3 and out. Chad, get this: a 3 and out that featured a tackle for loss. So that is momentum.
Right.
That is called the big MO right there.
You're down 8. You got a 3 and out. They're punting to you. What? Their punter was so fucking good.
He was really good.
Holy
but
crap.
Still, that punt bounced at the 34-yard line. Braden Smith was standing at the 32, and then it took that high hop straight through his hands. I don't know. It was the weirdest thing.
Leave it alone.
Ended the third quarter. It was the weirdest thing, man. The weirdest
Royer,
thing.
no, Royer, come back.
Yeah, Royer, you can't leave.
Come back.
This is special teams talk.
Come back.
Sorry.
What
I
would
was
Ryan
going
Mason
to go to
have
bed.
done if somebody tried to jump for that ball?
I don't know. They might have to put me back there after that.
Would that person have been alive for the rest of the game?
I mean, I honestly think that it would have just been one of those times where you think the coach is going to rip your ass, but it's just like there's nothing you can say other than like that's just you can't do that. It's kind of like those I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed moments. It'd be kind of like that.
Now,
Like,
I want to ask
we just can't
something
do that.
I want
You
to ask
just
something
can't.
I think is important here. This has been allowed in the first 3 games. He has picked up balls bouncing around, I think, in each of the first 3 games. Where, like,
That was a clear difference, though.
No.
That is just
I know it's a clear difference, but don't you tell him, cut that shit out. Stop. You either can play it or you can't play it.
because
Quit
he's not even
thinking.
making enough plays though to like make them
Right.
think like I want the ball in his hands. He's not like it's not like he's had like these explosive returns where I'm like, yeah, listen, man, we want you touching that ball. Like, be one thing if you're like fucking Devin Hester back there.
I think last week he picked one up off the bounce and was tackled immediately. Like,
Immediately.
Yeah.
begging. You are begging for something like this to happen.
Yeah.
And you continue to do dumb shit. Quit doing dumb shit. Either you have a play on the ball and you can return it, or you don't have a play on the ball and you
Is
let
Monty-
it go.
I don't know.
Monty
We
was
didn't
out.
see Mont. Yeah.
He was out.
So let's get him healthy, and I think we should put him back there.
We talked about that last week.
Yes.
Bullseye.
You know,
Because
you know,
we
here's the
haven't
thing,
had
though.
we haven't had anything explosive enough from the guy to make you
Give me
think
the
that
guy
we
that
need
gets
him.
you an extra first down every punt.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is no knock on Braden at all. But if you watch the replay, he's just 2 yards behind the bounce. Like, why not just come up those 2 yards and just feel
That
it?
is a knock. That's literally a knock on him, though. That is a knock on him.
As a
Leave it alone.
person. I meant as a person.
We're not talking about any of these people personally.
Oh my gosh. It was okay. Tomato. But it was 2 yards behind it for the
Leave
bounce.
it alone.
Just or you
Highlight
fair
that
catch
com-
it and you get the
highlight
ball
that
at the
comment
34-yard
from
line.
Reed.
Bottom one.
I want to talk about that. Yes,
There you go.
I don't know.
So,
I think
for the
we're
people on
witnessing a Brian
podcasts-
Mason.
For people on podcasts, though, Ryan, the
Oh,
comment
shit.
is our punt and kickoff returns have been very average. What are your guys' thoughts on trying out Prater at least on kickoffs? Go ahead.
You wonder where they have Prater on kickoff returns?
I wasn't thinking about the last
On the
sentence,
front
man.
line.
I'm thinking everything besides punt, because of Mason Fletcher and our field goal. I think our punt block. I think our punt return now, punt return, kickoff return, and kickoff. I mean, kickoff's been all right, but I mean, a lot of teams don't even
Kickoff's
try to
been fine.
fucking return nowadays.
Yeah.
But we aren't making like explosive tackles inside the 20 a ton. No turnovers, none of that. I think we're witnessing the Brian Mason effect because like when Fickle took special teams really seriously. So when Mason left, we kind of had Fickle to kind of carry the torch with that. But now we don't have either of them. And I don't know how – I know Kerry Combs has a big responsibility with the secondary. I don't know how tuned into the special teams he is compared to years past in his coaching experience, where that used to be his like MO at Ohio State and in Tennessee. But
Mason's
I don't think
just
we're
a special teams whisperer. Like, he just like –
well, because you know why? He fucking cared. Like he coached snipers, but the amount of detail he put in to special teams was insane. We'd have pre-special teams meetings, post-practice special teams walkthroughs on top of special teams periods, and then we'd have post-practice extra special teams film. It was like, that's why we were one of the best, because we put in the work, and I don't think we're putting in that same level of work, and it's a challenge that I'm challenging them that they should be doing that. because
They do
right
spend
now,
a ton of time on special teams at practice. I will tell you that.
maybe they need to do more. Maybe they need to have more because nothing's being schemed up versus any team. There's no we do the same thing. I haven't seen any different returns from us. We don't barely return at one. I haven't seen anything, but we do the same. We don't even try to really block the punt. We don't scheme up anything personalized any week that I'm noticing. So that just, and I know we're not putting as much time to it as we have when I was on the team. I do know that. And in terms of extra time on and off the practice field. And I think we need that advantage right now. Because we're losing every 50-50. So we need to find
point flip games. Special teams fucking matters.
Yeah, it gives us an extra first down. You know what? Then we're 10 yards closer to that fucking end zone, and God knows we know that. We need that because that the 10 can be the fucking 50 for us for all we know this season. And we need we would love, you know, it'd be great if we had a freaking play like that where they muff the
Aaron, I
punt
know
or
what
we
you're gonna
force
say.
a fumble.
Right.
It'd be
No, I agree
great.
with that.
We could use that nowadays. This 3-game run we're on right now. So
We're so not getting monetized this episode.
Ryan has said fuck 47 times.
Here's the thing. Well, hey, man.
Thank you to the Louisville assholes
that
that have monetized the Scott Satterfield videos to the point we don't have to care if this one gets monetized or not. Fucking clowns.
No, but Royer, you're right. Like, remember how many block punts like really just aided momentum and like just kind of buried teams for the most part during your time there? I haven't seen them get close to a block punt this year. Like not even sniff it. I don't know if it's because
why all those happened because we literally had Coach Mason would draw up like a literal, it'd be like inventing a new blitz every single week against a team's like a specific blitz package for their team by studying film after film after film after film just on their damn punt. It would be not just based off their formation, but the cadence, where exactly the block
weakness.
pointed.
What guides the weakness?
Yeah, and it would be, dude. You couldn't. We need something like that now. Like I know we're getting all deep on the special team shit, and most people not.
They gotta make a witch. They gotta make a witch get a block punt.
I know they need to find They need something that's gonna like kickstart this team right now because we're floating in kind of this average ass shit right now. It's driving me nuts.
That's the frustrating part. It's not average. They are controlling the game. They should be 4-1. They are controlling the game, and they are not finishing it off with winning plays. Like how many times? It's hilarious because there were so many times
they're not killers
that you guys didn't control games. The opponent controlled the game, and you guys still won.
I'm just not feeling that. Just it just does. The team doesn't feel as just like response, like competitively responsive.
Because
not that they're not competing hard or trying hard.
It's because we don't have the juice of getting a pick six on a weird play, or the opposing team does something stupid and jumps up and gives you a punt that they should be getting in like great territory at the 35, 30-yard line, and they give it to you at the 15. We're not getting any of that. There's no momentum changing plays happening for Cincinnati.
The kickoff that should go out of bounds is rolling out of the back of the end zone. The pitch out that should be recovered for a scoop and score is rolling out of bounds.
Like there's a giant magnet, like it's a fucking Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner cartoon.
Okay. Shout out.
Ryan, I had this idea on Saturday. Ryan, tell me what you think. For this week and next week, they should do nothing but start at the 25-yard line into the end zone and have 35 yards to work with. And that's it for both the offense and the defense. Just nothing but you start your drive at the 25. You do nothing but that the entire practice.
Yeah, that's somewhere they need to improve because they seem to have it figured out on both sides of the ball everywhere else.
Just 25 yards. That's it. You just run it
Yeah.
again and again and again for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or
I alluded to it earlier. It's not like I don't think the guys are playing hard. I think the coaches are coaching hard. It just seems like when we need something to go our way and we need to go out there and kind of force things to go our way with a graded drive or a big play on D, like we just aren't making it happen. And maybe we just don't have. Maybe we're playing better teams. We're not as talented, but you'd like to think sometimes that you can kind of will your way to some things. That's kind of what we would do when I was playing. But
yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like, I guess that's kind of that's what you'll feel when bounces aren't going your way left and right, just time after time and again. But I don't know. Just when we need to make something happen, we're not, and then we're having bad luck too. And sometimes you can make your own luck. I just don't feel like we're really helping ourselves in that regard either.
I mean, we'll see if Ethan Tucky has his 6 year of eligibility remaining and bring him back for quick pump block. But no, I mean, Brian Mason, special teams coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. That's a pretty rapid rise to the highest level, if you ask me. So that would explain a lot of that. But
and guess what? Mason's going to make a shit ton of money being a special teams coordinator at minimum for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
he is as good as that as anybody I've ever seen.
I think he could parlay it into a head coaching job if he wants to.
I mean, he could. I'm saying
college,
at minimum,
right?
Minimum, that guy's going to make millions of dollars coaching special teams in the NFL for the rest of his life.
For sure.
He's that good.
I mean, that kind of was the play that kind of really put things out of reach for the Bearcats. I mean, I didn't love the timeout when it was 2nd and 1 on the 1 yard line. It's just feels like a waste.
That was a waste. Yes, that was an absolute waste of timeout, especially on the situation that they ran into. It was either the week before or it was either Oklahoma or Miami where they had too many men on the field in goal line formation. They've done that now twice this season. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. There's also a snap that went over BYU's head that lost them 18 yards, or else they could have maybe tacked on another touchdown instead. That's when they missed the field goal. But that following offensive drive, it was 4 straight rushes, and it ended up being a 4 and out because Kiner got stonewalled on that 4th down attempt. And then there was the Braden Smith kind of moss in the end zone there. Awesome catch. Really awesome catch. But kind of just brought the score closer than it was. And you had the always fun onside kick that just did not go the Bearcats' way, and brings you to the final of 35-27. Anything more on this game, guys? We kind of touched on the tough parts, but
I could go for another hour. But
me too.
You can't look. Second time in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That Cincinnati is the team that dominated the game more than anyone and lost. Last in the country.
They still had damn near 500 yards last week and scored 6 points. You can't let that go untouched, too.
Net success rate. The number 1 game in the country for the second out of 3 straight weeks that they said, hey, you guys
should have won this game by a comfortable margin and fucking lost both.
Right. Royer, here's Royer.
Fucking fuck.
Here's a stat for you, Royer. Royer, in the 3 losses for the Bearcats, they've outgained their opponents by a combined 334 yards. And that includes the Oklahoma game where Oklahoma had a 49-yard advantage. They hold a 77-54 advantage in first downs, and they have had the ball for nearly 28 more minutes in time of possession. Yet they went 0 for 3 in that stretch.
And one of them was a max school.
That's just yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. It's frustrating.
All right, let's timestamp this for the BYU recap. Then we'll kind of do a quick look back at the first 5 games and look ahead. and then
I love superlatives. I can't wait for this thing.
keep the
Quick Paper
pod
Supply,
rolling.
your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. Quick Paper services over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next-day deliveries, providing a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick, 513-470-2029, and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
Nice timestamp here. Very fitting. Of course, I want to wait a little bit for Royer to finish his quick break before we dump all these stats. But the announcement for a noon kickoff for homecoming game against Iowa State on the 14th. Obviously, we don't love noon kickoffs, but hey, it is what it is. That'll be 2 weeks from now, obviously, or not this weekend, but the week following. Noon kickoff. So the Bearcats are still 48th in SP Plus ranking, which is pretty telling of how the season has gone, even though the scores have not gone their way.
They're a top 50 team. They're 2-3. What do we?
It's crazy. 14th in college football, averaging 490 yards per game. We mentioned that. 4th in the Big 12, UCF, Oklahoma, and TCU. This is where it gets a little crazier. 5th in the country in average time of possession, 1st in the Big 12. They are number 1, 1st in the country in total first downs gained, 127 first downs.
The first down numbers are shocking. 20, 25, 30 first downs a game. Shocking. Shocking.
Get this. UTEP is the next closest with 116, and that's with 6 games played. So they're kind of blowing out the country in that standing. I mean, and then as I kind of mentioned off air, 17 touchdowns scored on the season for the Bearcats. 9 of those came in week 1. Only 8 touchdowns in the 4 games that followed. I don't know. It's just the thought of the offense through the first 5 weeks. I mean, it just, like we've said, it doesn't seem like too much is broken other than just finishing drives and getting the ball into the end zone. I don't know. It's a weird thing when you look at those stats in comparison to the country, and then look at both the record and the scores of the last 3 games.
It's shocking. It really is shocking. Like, how many things have gone right to be sitting at 3-2
compared to how many things have gone wrong.
Yeah, but no, like not even that. Just like how many things have gone right to be sitting at 2-3. Like there's so much that's gone right that's overshadowed by the small number of things, the game-changing, back-breaking things that have gone wrong. There's not a ton that has gone wrong. Like in the grand scheme of things, you look at the first downs, the yards, like the way the defense like has played against Oklahoma and controlled most of the game against BYU, and for the most part dominated Miami. But then you have the first play long touchdown, like you have the pick 6, you have the fumble, you have all the crazy shit that happened in the Oklahoma game. Like it's wild.
Yeah, it is. Aaron.
No one's being fair to Louisville fans. Bye.
Oh, no. I hope you just put him in timeout.
Nope. Banned.
He's not even a Louisville fan.
I don't care.
Oh, my God.
If you want to hear about Louisville, go watch shows covering Louisville.
He was just, anyway.
He was well actualing the fact that I'm done hearing from Louisville fans. I've heard it since December. I'm done hearing it. There's no, well, actually, I don't care. It's my network. I'm the czar. I get to make the rules. If you want to talk about Louisville, go somewhere else. I don't care.
It's going to be that kind of show today.
That mini rant brought to you by Papa John's Pizza.
I don't know. Everyone feels like they're taking crazy pills right now, watching these games.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like I've watched football my entire life. These games don't make any sense.
After Friday's game, it was one of the more baffled I've been in a while. Like, I stayed up late, and it was already late. Just like,
We all
what
did.
the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just
we were
weird.
we did this until 3+, like 3:15 when we parted.
It was very weird. Aaron, thoughts on the offense? I mean, and then we'll take a quick look at some defensive numbers, but
I don't know what to make of this offense. I have no idea. I think
one of the best offenses in the country, Aaron.
I think it has to do with just the fact that we're running so many plays in a game.
Yeah, that's the insane part. They're running 80, 90 plays in a game and they can barely score 20 points.
Right. So like maybe these stats of like most first downs, the most time of possession, maybe that's not good.
Right, these are the numbers. Like, and here's the crazy part. These are the numbers that, like, when teams started playing fast, like when Chip Kelly in Oregon really started this like trend of like no fast break offense, like what Oklahoma does right now. Like, as soon as the play is dead, the ball gets set, you snap the ball. You like Central Florida under Heupel, they were targeting 85 to 90 plays. Cincinnati is not doing that. Mm-hmm. They're not speeding to the line of scrimmage.
No, they're just giving up a
snap off.
They're just giving up a 40+ yard touchdown every few drives.
What does that have to do with offense?
I just feel like that's how you're getting the ball back so quickly and running more plays.
They're running more plays because they're getting a completely absurd number, first in the country, of first downs. That's how you run as many plays as they're running. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with the other side of the ball.
Absolutely, it does, because
Aaron. We've gone through this before.
They're not possessing the ball. Is my point. They give up the ball quickly because the other team is not possessing the ball very long because Cincinnati is giving up a long touchdown quickly, and so that ends the drive, and Cincinnati gets the ball back.
That's just not true.
They've given up
like 2 times a game.
I'm saying
it's happening
significant
2 times a game, which is magnified because the offense stalls out, but the offense is doing everything you should do to run a high number of plays. It doesn't have to do with the quick touchdown at the end of the half. That didn't create any more offensive snaps for Cincinnati.
Not that one, but I'm talking about. It's frustrating. The whole thing's frustrating.
You're letting the fan cloud like what we're like. The topic is the offense is doing almost everything right, and then they get to the 25 or whatever it is, and it just falls apart. Like, the number of plays they're putting up is absurd. It's absurd. It is Chip Kelly, Oregon. It is the UCF 2017 stuff, and they're not trying to go fast, but they are continuously moving the chains. Like, you wouldn't have this happen if you didn't continuously get first down after first down after first down. And then you have, like, what's happening is they're having one setback, one tackle for loss, one penalty that puts them behind the chains. And almost the instant that they're behind the chains, the entire operation breaks down. And that ruins all the good that they've done marching down the field. And then the car goes kaput.
Yeah.
I'm not going to blame the defense for the offense. Like,
defense
having
played
85
well this year.
Plays.
Defense held out to 20 points. Defense essentially held BYU to 21.
I'm just saying that's not happening. If it was happening all the time, Aaron, I would agree with you, but it's not. It's happening once or twice a game. Like, that doesn't give you 85 plays, because on 2 plays they had like jailbreak situations where they score. Like, that's not.
I mean, here's a crazy stat that kind of sets it offensively for you, flash play wise, Aaron, which is kind of true offensively.
It's a massive problem.
So Cincinnati has, if you take the FCS game, they have 6 plays of 30 yards or more in the last 4 games. Guess how many plays they have of 40 yards or more in the last 4 games? Only one. Only one play of 40 yards or
kind
more.
of run against Pitt, right?
I'd have to look it up. All I saw was a stat, but only one
Corey
play.
had the long run early in the Pitt game. 50,
Yeah.
60 yards, whatever
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, because
And
it
then
was a
Aaron
60
asked him
yard.
after the game why he was fat and slow.
Yeah.
Didn't ask that. So I'm looking at the drive chart
One
for
of the most awkward
BYU.
questions in a press conference ever.
Be faster. I'm looking at the drive chart for BYU. The last play, the last drive of the first half, obviously we knew 30 seconds, 3 plays, 82 yards. And then the first drive of the second half, 5 plays, 73 yards, 2 minutes and 2 seconds, touchdown.
Okay.
Then their next drive after that, 4 plays, 75 yards, 2.5 minutes, touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So again, when you get
well, then you have to go to the first half where 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Like that's
they had three and outs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But again,
that's just as responsible as they only have 5 plays on offense on a 2-minute touchdown.
Correct. But on the scoring drives, that's where it's a very short drive, time-wise, possession-wise, which was the only point I was trying to make, where about every 3 or 4 possessions, they're giving up a quick scoring drive. That was the only point that I was trying to make.
But it just doesn't match with if Cincinnati wasn't moving the ball, then the numbers wouldn't look like how they look. If they weren't getting a ton of first downs, here's the problem. Here's the actual thing that we're to discuss this situation. They're getting a ton of first downs, 10.5 yards at a time.
Yeah.
Like this is what we went back to last week on not enough, and what Brent's getting to on not enough chunk plays. Guess what? You're going to have a bunch of first downs and a bunch of time of possession if you're getting first downs 10 yards at a time. You're not getting a 40-yard play, a 50-yard play. And that's what shortens your offensive numbers there. Like that's what shortened BYU's offensive numbers there because they hit the bullshit, hand grenade that the guy caught. But Cincinnati's not getting any of those. Any. So they are having to move the ball essentially 10.5 yards at a time. When they get a first down, they get it by this much, it feels like. That's why everybody was so mad in the beginning of this game because the officials were spotting the ball 1 yard the other way.
What was that all about?
Right?
That was weird. I was like, have I had too many
that is a
cops
good
or are
point,
they
Chad.
spotting this short?
It doesn't feel like we're. And when we do get an explosive play, we never really get in the end zone with it. It might just get cut off at 20 yards.
But I don't mind that, right? But if it's a 40-yard play that takes you down to the 12-yard line, awesome. They're not getting those.
And you know what that does? That puts the defense on their heels and kind of, you're able to kind of catch them scrambling a bit instead of letting the defense set every single play because you're doing a methodical long drive that picks up 6 here, 8 there, 12 here, 10 there. So, yeah, I agree. Royer, you missed the 2 crazy stats that I said. They're 4th in the country, 4th in all college football in first downs. In time of possession, I think it was, and then 1st overall in the country in first downs gained.
I think a crazier one. Can anyone name me any college football team ever? Can you name even 5 that average around 500 yards of offense, only give up 20 points a game, or right around there on defense, and you're 2-3?
They hold opponents.
No, just simplify it like this. Just simplify this. It's blowing my mind. I can't believe it. 500 yards of offense on offense, and your defense gives up right around 20 points a game in 5 games, and you're 2-3. Can anyone find me anyone that's ever done that before? I think that's unheard of. I think it's impossible. Can
Hard.
you guys have
It's
been
not
covering this?
easy.
You guys have been covering shit like because when I played football, I
I've
never
never
got
seen
into
anything
this
like
shit.
it. I couldn't compare it to anything.
I like that is mind boggling. I don't. What do we average a game? 480. You said
490.
490. Last week we gave up 28 points. First game we gave up 13. Miami we gave up what 38.
35,
And
34.
34. Pitt we gave up what?
24, I think 25 maybe.
So we're and all right, let's take out the fucking pick six from BYU. That's not a defensive point allowed. And take out the 15-yard fucking drive for them off the muff punt and take out some fluke plays. In all, like, yeah,
Wow.
if we really want to be honest, like this defense is a 20-point a game defense. And they let up Oklahoma. They only let Oklahoma score 20 points on them.
Yep.
They had 40 and a half last week, by the way.
Yeah.
Against what it's supposed to be one of the best defenses of the Big 12 in Iowa State. 40 at halftime.
We're 2-3 though. We're 2-3 with 500 yards of offense a game and 20 points a game on D.
And
I don't think anyone ever has that scenario.
And like you could
If
say
you wanna
that
really simplify it.
you could say that the EKU game's throwing off the total yardage, but if you take that away, they're still averaging 445 yards per game offensively, which is still a high number against the four teams that they played.
Look, if we said at the beginning of the season that this team through 5 games, they get to the bye averaging 450 yards of offense a game, 4-1. 4-1. Like we all thought we all thought this would be a 2-3 team, 3-2, 2-3, somewhere in there going into the bye.
Right.
They're not far off from where people thought they were going to be.
3-2. I didn't think they would.
Yeah, but most people had them losing at Pitt.
Yeah.
We didn't know at that time Pitt was dog shit.
Right.
Before the season. Like, everybody would have had them 3-2 if we knew now what we knew about Pitt then.
Right.
But the reason it's creating so much angst and so much anger amongst the fan base is you've had 2 games where the metrics and the eye test and the numbers show you are clearly the better team, and they're 0-2.
Blocked field goal, pick 6, muffed punt. I mean, it's just crazy. And I don't know. Defensively, real fast. These are kind of interesting. You know, we kind of were talking about the havoc that was coming in on defense. And oh man, they are 54th in the country with 7 turnovers gained and 55th in the country and 2.4 sacks per game.
That's the other thing about BYU we haven't talked about. 0 turnovers, 0 sacks.
Right. I didn't have enough time to look it up.
Keaton Slovis is a statue.
I didn't even realize that.
I'm starting to
0 turnovers, 0 sacks.
When do you think the last time that happened? I can't even wrap my mind around
sacks is crazy. I thought that would never happen in one game. I thought we'd have a sack every game.
Right.
Now they should have had, like, there were a couple, you know, the Jack Dingle in the interview or in the end zone where he barely gets it away. The touchdown where they had him, Dorian Jones free run right to him. He makes 1 quarter step to the right, and Dorian Jones just misses him.
We should have attacked Slovis like we attacked.
I don't think they won enough up front to do it.
Well, I know, but we were sending 2 backers when we started smelling the blood in the water. The way we
just
played,
never got the blood in the water.
Yeah, I think, but we kind of had blood in the water on their offense in the first half in terms of just like
they
couldn't do shit.
They had 32 yards.
Yeah. Maybe they just knew. They knew.
It didn't come via sack, but they were 3 and out every drive outside of the first one.
Yeah.
Which they got to the 50.
That's the other thing. It's like if Dorian sacks Keaton, which I would say 9 out of 10 times that ends up in a sack. I mean, Keaton just did no lay on Dorian, and somehow got out of it and threw up just an absolute prayer that was answered. And BYU.
That
maybe
looked like it
that's-
was in slow motion.
right. It was so
Free
weird.
run to the quarterback, and somebody hit the slow motion button.
Right, like a glitch, like a glitch happened, and he just
And he jumped 2 steps over.
it's weird, so weird, and then it ended up in a 59-yard touchdown. But it's weird, yeah. We'd like to see maybe more sacks and more overall turnovers, obviously, because that's something that Louisville really did well. But I don't know if it's a personnel thing. I don't know if it's a scheme thing with the personnel or what exactly it is.
What did I talk about at the beginning of the season?
Yeah,
They've got a lot of power at the line of scrimmage. They do not have a lot of speed.
and they flex the power a lot. They really do.
Right, but you got to have that speed guy.
Yeah.
You got to have that guy on 3rd and 7 that says, "I'm coming for your throat."
Right, I agree.
They don't. They just don't have that guy. They haven't been able to develop one since Mailbag.
I agree.
And Mailbag was the only one they developed. If we're being quite honest.
I agree. Real quick, guys, what is your highest point of the first 5 games? Go around the circle.
The first 6 offensive possessions against Eastern Kentucky.
Okay.
We'll look back fondly on those for years.
Okay.
6 possessions, 6 touchdowns.
It was nasty. Aaron, highest point?
Beating Pitt and getting to drive home from Pitt after a win instead of a loss.
Happy man.
Second
Royer?
that with Aaron.
Yeah.
I can't really think of anything. I guess Jack Dingle's sack in the Pitt game just kind of, you just felt like we just kind of the nail was in the coffin. That's probably my favorite moment.
Coffin nails. Ah, man. Yeah. I agree.
Bang, bang.
Yeah. I mean, I would say mine was EKU because, man, just the entire game. Because like after that, it's like, okay, we got something with this offense, and they carried it over to the first half of the Pitt game, especially. But yeah, and then obviously the Pitt game was big, but just that entire offensive performance in the EKU game. Lowest point. I think this is pretty easy all around.
I'll say Miami.
Yeah.
Yes.
Blocked
The victory
field goal
bell
in the overtime. Yeah.
being rang on the CPAW.
Yeah. Let's shut that one real quick. Biggest surprise so far, first 5 games, could be good or bad.
Mine is the thing I just went on the rant about, the 500 plus 20 points. I think that's the biggest surprise I've ever seen in college football, statistic wise.
I agree.
I'll say losing 3 in a row. I don't think I saw that coming. At least not 5 games in, losing 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the schedule, I don't think any of us saw 3 in a row anywhere on this schedule in the first 5 games.
Yeah, I agree.
That's because nobody saw a lot of Miami.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think most people knew Oklahoma was unlikely, and short week to BYU was also a daunting task. But that was why you couldn't lose the Miami game. Like the way the schedule plays out matters, and you can't put yourself in a position where you have to either beat Oklahoma or go on the road to beat BYU because you pissed down your leg against Miami.
Mm-hmm.
That's just.
By the way, I want to go on record saying I don't think it mattered what helmets they were going to be wearing for this game.
I mean, they could wear space helmets.
I thought the jerseys looked nice.
I love the Stormtrooper look.
Yeah.
I love the
aesthetics. The aesthetics of that game were beautiful. Yeah, my biggest surprise was that damn Miami game. That thing just beginning to end, and then I feel like I was in a fever dream watching the BYU game on Friday. Like, what the hell is this thing again? It's so weird. It is pretty damn mind boggling.
I mean, for me, the biggest surprise is watching that field goal get blocked.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it was all going to be erased. Like it was another one of those Miami games where it feels like it's one or the other. Like it's a blowout, or it's like Cincinnati's like figuring out a way to tough it out. And they had a chip shot. And watching that get blocked, I would have been shocked at that point if Cincinnati won that game because the momentum.
The whole BCJ family was there in the corner watching it together. It was just like, oh gosh.
As soon as that kick was blocked, it was like they're not winning this game. Miami's actually going to win this.
The vibes in Nippert after that were just so weird. It was just.
And then they went down and scored 2 plays. I was like, oh, this is a wrap.
Turned into the damn Tennessee Titans. Weird. Next up, breakout player so far.
Do I have one? I mean, I guess Shaman after what we saw at BYU.
Yeah,
I don't know that there's anybody on defense that I feel like has had a breakout.
Yeah.
Retz has been really good. Dante and Jawan have been really good, but we
Dingle if he would have kept up after the pit, but
I mean, he lost leverage so many times. What did you think about that, Ryan? Did you feel like he was there for the tackle and lost leverage? I don't know if it was whatever shoulder or whatever happened last week, but it felt like against BYU he was there, but he couldn't finish guys off.
Yeah, it's also hard for me to watch defense from the TV copy, and I don't know all their calls, so it's hard. I can kind of try
if you
to
got
pick
a guy
up.
squared up, and
Yeah.
he drives you back, like that's.
Yeah, no, that's not good. I know that, but it's just hard for me to like really break down his performance. Like I would, if I could find a way to watch film, I'd do it every week for you guys. But it's just hard. It's hard because everything happens so. Yeah, everything happens so fast, and so I'm sure of what you saw, Chad, because I didn't really notice it because it's hard for me to pick up on something sometimes.
I know which play you're talking about, Chad. It was like a catch over the middle. Yeah,
there was a catch over the middle. There was a play by the goal line.
Yeah, would have shut him down, and then he like gained that 1 extra yard to pick up the first down. Yeah, no man.
You can't get Adonis and lose leverage in short yardage situations.
Aaron knows about that, baby. I mean, I feel like Shaman's probably got to be the answer just because parlaying a couple good plays against Oklahoma to that performance at BYU.
Now he's got to keep it up. But guess what? Defensives aren't sleeping on Shaman Mateer anymore.
No, not at all. I mean, maybe a hat tip to Miles Montgomery. He just hasn't really had the ability to get as many carries up to this point. I don't know. It's weird. It's been weird.
I just don't know, like, who, like, the funny thing is the obvious answer is Emory because he's played really well, but he hasn't played really well in those small number of, like, game-breaking situations where he could go out and win you the game. He hasn't done that. So then he doesn't get to be the breakout player because he hasn't finished, enough of the job.
Can you say Xavier?
Yeah, to an extent, but he's still outside of EKU. Like they haven't been able to get him over the top. They haven't been able to like hit him for chunk plays. They've been able to take advantage of free release. Like he has been the free release king so far this year.
Yeah, I
just meant more volume than anything.
Volume, yeah, because teams are giving him a free release. So Emory's like, all right, I'll take the 10. But when
even on
the red zone, we talked about it this week.
Even on those, though, I feel like when D. Wiggins is getting his, like they're ending up in drops as opposed to
or
overthrow
a good throw.
Overthrows or underthrows, yeah.
His connection with D. Wiggins has been really good. Like D. Wiggins has been, if you looked, I would love to know the number of D. Wiggins first downs because I bet it's a lot. So yeah, I can see that, Aaron.
Yeah, Xavier. Yeah, maybe I don't know.
I just like run him over the top.
Yeah.
See if you can where is that deep ball that we heard about and we saw at camp that was so good from Emory? We can't get to that. frustrating.
Biggest singular play of the first 5 games.
Dingle sack, I guess.
Braden Smith's
think that-
catch.
Yeah, the catch
Yeah, that's one too.
and / or the toss throw. That was just unbelievable.
The dot,
The
Braden
dot
Smith
thrown by-
dot to D.
Yeah.
It's probably, you're right there. It's Braden Smith in that corner of the ends. Doing it in the bin spot, like 22 inches from where Ben's caught the most famous pass in UC history,
Right.
and then doing it right there. Yeah, that's the right answer.
I'm going to also throw out the 4th down and 5 completion touchdown to Xavier Henderson against Eastern Kentucky, just because it kind of, set a tone that obviously has kind of not really changed, but is a little bit affected now since.
Well, yeah, if things look better right now, we'd go back to that play and say that was like,
right,
that was the catalyst for this offense being dominant.
That Dingle sack was awesome. I mean, the sacks in that game against Pitt, like Dante's sack, Jawan's sack, like that was just like some grown men out there just battering, ramming. So, but yeah, I mean, there's a handful to choose from, but yeah. Biggest moment or kind of not really play wise. I mean, I kind of threw this one in there because I've got one in mind, but kind of moment, whether it be on or off the field so far.
What do you got? If you got something in mind,
For an example, it would just be the atmosphere before the Oklahoma game. Just campus all the way up until on the field, Nippert before snap, having big noon kickoff there. Just that atmosphere right there was like Nippert might not be the biggest stadium in the world, but it's got an atmosphere that is Power 5, Big 12 worthy, and I think the country was kind of put on notice a little bit, even though the outcome of the game isn't what was intended for.
I'll say after the Pitt game, where everybody thought that this team might be able to win 8. I think people were talking about up to 8, 9 games this season, and
Me.
Same.
Yeah. The Kool-Aid never tasted better than after that game. I'll say that much.
Dunking my head in the Kool-Aid.
The best part of that is if I had told you after that game the numbers against Miami and BYU, you would have been like, 4-1 minimum.
Right.
Minimum.
Right.
You would have told me we hold Oklahoma to 20.
Yeah. Say Oklahoma scored 20
5-0.
20 points. Yeah.
No
5-0.
doubt in my mind, I would have said we won.
With the crash
Maybe the
course
most
to the
insane
CFP.
3-game losing streak in the history of the program. It just doesn't
500 yards on the road on a short week at BYU.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, like, and I know BYU had a lot of people injured and whatnot, but that was like the one game everyone looked at prior to the year, like after Oklahoma. This is a scary one on a short week, and it's like they dominated. Like the whole
at
first
elevation,
half, whole first half was domination. It's just like I don't know until
elevation didn't
the
matter.
final
The defense
40
was on the
minutes,
field
40
50
seconds.
plays.
Yeah, elevation, smell-ovation. That's overrated. But
Smell-ovation.
the last one, the biggest area of improvement needed for the team.
all of them, all the areas.
Red zone.
DB and O-line.
Short area, high leverage situations for the offense.
Yeah. For me, Chad, you kind of alluded to it. I want them to hit that deep ball that we heard Emory was throwing so doggone well. We had that one.
I watched it.
Miss.
I saw it. He was hitting it every day. He's not even throwing it now.
The one miss against Oklahoma that
a lot
would have ended in a touchdown. It just
the
miss against
what
BYU.
we haven't talked about, the pick six would never have happened if he hits the deep ball down the sideline on second down. Wide open, 2 steps, and the ball is 5 yards over, shot, and out of bounds. Like, he did not give Xavier Henderson, I think that's who it was, even a shot at catching that football on second down. He hits that, the complexion of the game is completely different.
Yep. Looks like it was, on that second down. You're right. Looks like it was intended for
It was one of the two.
yeah,
Whatever.
Braden
It doesn't
Smith is
matter
what it
who was
says. Left to
intended
Braden
for it.
Smith.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like he had a wide
Right.
open shot
I agree.
down the sideline where the guy was going to run for 60 yards minimum and missed it.
Right.
You can't miss that throw that early in a game where you're trying to take control on the road and shut the a rowdy, raucous 60,000 person crowd up. It's what Miami did early in that game. You hit that kill shot early, and doubt sets in. They missed it, and then the next throw is a pick six, and now they have, they have the upper hand.
I agree. Last but not least, the area that you guys feel most comfortable in regards to the team heading into the second half of the season.
Punter.
He hasn't had a great year. We're not talking about it. Fletch has not been Fletch. He's had some punts that look like him. He had a 39-yarder, like with a chance to boom one in flip field position. Like he has not been great. Carter Brown, but even he had the block. Like I don't know. I don't think there's anywhere. Royer?
Yeah.
I feel most comfortable with punter.
The D line interior, Dante.
They're not
and
getting
Juwan,
sacks.
They're still being disruptive, and sometimes it's still as it needs to be recognized because
They've lost their last three.
yeah,
They didn't get a sack.
I'm still betting on those guys. Is what I mean.
I know.
And I'm always I'm comfortable with them. Not saying they're lighting the world on fire, but there's not a lot to pick from.
It's
really
not
not.
linebacker. It's not corner. It's not safety. Maybe running back. Outside of the Oklahoma game, they're churning out 250 yards a game. Maybe it's running back.
Top 10 in the country in rushing, yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Right. They're
We're
killing
10th in
it.
the country in rushing, and we're 2 and 3.
Let me pull it up to
Add
be
that to the
exact.
fold, man.
Yeah,
Can we,
number
we
10
need,
in the
a
country.
stat guy to add
But
create a metric score of all of points
But they-
allowed, yards for, yards against, rush all
they
this
can't
shit.
rush. They can't rush in the high leverage situations though. They can't rush at goal line. They can't rush
Third
I
and
feel like
short. Third
third
and
and
two.
two.
short,
Exactly right.
fourth and short.
4th and 1, yeah.
Right.
We have a severe high leverage handicap. It is a stuff.
Mind-boggling.
Handicapping our teams severely.
They got a bunch of guys that don't know you can't stick your head all the way into the fan. That you have to just let it graze.
It's got to be eyebrows and above.
And,
You got
they
to
got
be
a bunch
careful.
of guys taking the fan blade to the nose. The bridge of the nose is not where you want the fan blade on high to hit.
I love it.
We'll talk more next week. Obviously, next week will be a big basketball-centric pod as well, but we'll dive in more to game-by-game aspect and what needs to happen against Iowa State. But, that's what we got for now. Let's timestamp this, and we'll touch on recruiting, then hop in that mailbag.
Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They provide mostly disposable restaurant supplies, products like to-go containers, cups, pizza boxes, to-go bags, can liners, napkins. They've been open since 2009 and are one of the largest minority-owned companies in the city. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
Boom, boom, boom. Thanks,
Thanks,
Ed.
Ed.
You have a good night too, brother. All right, real quick. It was cool to see some of just a little bit of highlights from the commitments as far as their football season goes. Cale Woodburn, big stat line, 8 catches, 137 yards, touchdown. Marquise Parker has 6 sacks at the midseason point. That's a stat that the Bearcats would love to bring in. You saw another 2 touchdown game. for Gavin Grover, who is huge in person. So get excited about that one.
Big
Devin
boy.
Zahersky. Oh, big boy. Devin Zahersky.
He reminds me of Josh when you first saw how big Josh was.
Right. Well, and then what does Devin Zahersky remind you of? It 250-pounder. He's in there as a Wildcat quarterback. Takes a snap, runs it 65 yards for a touchdown. Outruns the defense. That's another big fella coming in for the tight end room. It's gonna be exciting. Exciting
Don't
1-2
need it.
punch. On the basketball side of things, Tyler Betsy dropped his commitment date, October 6th at 3 p.m. Final three are Alabama, UConn, and Cincinnati. You know, if you take a look at Betsy's offer list, outstanding. It is an offer list that looks awesome, and it'll a who's who of the basketball world, if you will. But yeah, big commitment date coming up this Friday, 3 p.m. Looks like I believe 247's carrying the commitment.
Yes.
So it's going to be all eyes for Bearcats fans on one Tyler Betsy.
We don't typically do nightcaps on Friday. I think we might this Friday. I don't know. We'll see. I think there's a decent chance we have a show Friday.
Very good. Very good. That is called a crumb. So stay locked in. Stay locked in.
Sprinkle, drip, drip.
The staff also visited Travis Perry. Any update on that recruitment? I think Perry was in Ole Miss this past weekend.
Yeah. I think it's Cincinnati or Ole Miss. I mean, I guess Kentucky could decide to make a move, but that doesn't seem like it's going to happen as we get into this decision-making process. We'll see. He's got to visit the Cincinnati later in the month. That's as long as that happens, I think there's, Cincinnati and Ole Miss are probably the two at the top of the board, with Kentucky there, but not really doing a lot to make themselves a major factor. So we'll see on that. We're monitoring, much like we were monitoring Tyler Betsy before he came on the Cincinnati visit.
Mm-hmm.
We'll monitor Perry until he visits Cincinnati, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Monetarization. If you head to someone's golf state championship match, I think you are highly monitoring him as well. So
you're not going to practice. You don't get a chance to talk to him. You're not meeting with mom and dad. You are specifically going to say, we support you in all your endeavors, including your quest for a state golf championship. Like, that is a level of attention that most don't make.
What was it? Josh Reed went golfing with Wes on his visit, right?
Yeah, I believe they went golfing, and then they took him to the
school,
whatever. Damn it, the study of rocks. It's the study of rocks.
Theology.
Yeah.
Not
paleontology or whatever. Like, they literally, all the people came out in that department and treated him like he was a zoo animal, because they had never seen a basketball player be interested in their field of study.
This rock.
Geology is the study of rocks.
Yeah, geology.
You are so good, Aaron. You are so good.
I took geology.
Oh, yeah.
I think
to
get my science credits.
I was down to geology and
how'd you do in geology?
That was the one we had the test banks for. We were good there.
There you go, man. There you go. Yeah. So
I was down to a single class, only the labs.
Aaron, I was down to like a geology class or dinosaurs and their relatives. I picked dinosaurs and their relatives. Probably the top 5 hardest class of my entire college career was dinosaurs and their relatives. It was unbelievable. You don't know how many different freaking words and names there are for these daggone dinosaurs. It's incredible. And
it's almost like there was a whole continent of dinosaurs.
A whole era. A whole time era. Yeah.
Paleontologist, whatever.
I just
That
mean
was my freshman year
the
too. So
Jur-
I'm like drinking heavily, and I'm like,
Jurassic
wait a
era.
minute, I
I
gotta
know, but
talk
like
about
the study of paleontology, dinosaurs, like there's a whole
Anyway,
thing going
the
on with that.
Mogwai, Suma, Rappa, Trapasava, Teratops. I'm like, what? I just
I
thought
had
there
a
was
joke
two.
come to mind,
Thought
but
there
I'm
was two
not going to
rats.
tell it.
Okay, hey, we'll
Moving
let's go ahead
on.
and keep off it. So I saw what Jane Quaintance went on an official visit to USF this past weekend. Like, what is
I'm guessing, you know how we've heard a bunch of rumors about kids getting paid to go on official visits?
Yeah, what was that all about? I mean,
Take that 5Gs, bro.
I guess you just check out Tampa for the weekend. Cool
I
spot.
have no belief that kid, there's any chance that kid's going to come to Cincinnati. There's nothing in the tea leaves that says
Right.
that.
It's a
So
weird
I would,
situation.
maybe they get him on campus for an official, and maybe things go great, and the tide changes on that one. But I'm not putting any of my chips on that staff.
And the other crazy thing is the staff has had a lot of success with big men out of the portal as well. And sure, there's the stipulations that are still surrounding the two big men that transferred in this year,
Sure.
but it seems as if it's they think, hey, I mean, we can potentially fill a hole through the portal that way as well if we swing and miss on these two really
Right.
big prospects that we were going after. So big man heading down to USF. It was sunny down there this weekend, I believe. So might have watched them play like Rice or something. I think is who they
Where
played.
the
This
hell is he
past
even at school now? Like, is he at IMG or?
Aren't you in Orlando?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, Cocoa Beach, opposite side.
All right.
Yeah, it was good weather.
I
Tampa's
assumed
like
you'd
3
know
hours.
Since
It's
you're
like 3
down
hours
there.
away.
He's like Tampa area.
I'm not Tampa.
Kinda.
I'm 3
It's
hours
the
away
other,
from
the
Tampa.
other coast. The other coast.
Other coast. So it's like saying like, hey, how's the weather in Cincinnati while you're in Athens? It could be completely different. But
Aaron's
Florida-
internet can attest to that.
exactly. Florida's
You're not wrong.
Florida, baby.
The weather's fine here. We haven't had internet. We haven't had power for 14 days. We just lost our power. The power company says they should be here in 3 weeks to fix it.
It's sunny.
There were 4 drops of rain.
There wasn't even rain the last time.
I
It
counted
was
each of them.
sunny.
You said the converter dropped on your house or something. What was that thing?
That was a different anyway.
Yeah. All right, let's get this moving.
Yes. Real quick, the tip-off time for the Crosstown Shootout was announced 6:30 on October 4th. Sorry, not October. Geez, December. So that's always fun. I love those late night tip-offs. December 9th, pardon me. And then of course
Keegan will be there covering the game. I will not be entering that godforsaken hellhole.
maybe with a disguise in the stands. No, 0% chance. Anything else basketball? We'll have a big basketball combo next.
We'll have a bunch of basketball stuff tomorrow. There's a media availability tomorrow, and then an open practice, and should be good to go with kind of getting into basketball season. Brent, I like. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah,
it's really hard. If you're planning on a full basketball show, we don't know shit until we know the answer to these waivers.
true.
Like it's just going to be hard to talk about. That like until we have an answer,
right.
dissecting this basketball season is damn near impossible.
But we
Because,
can still talk about what we do know are the.
but it's two completely different. Like
Teams.
the
Right.
what we talk about is completely different depending on 0 waivers, 1 waiver, 2 waivers.
right.
Like every scenario,
It's
it
it's like writing your Lindy's article to preview the season in May. That was super fun.
without knowing Ben Bryant was going to transfer. Or
Super
like,
fun.
Yeah. Like, we'll do it. I'm down. Like we got to talk.
Did you say
basketball.
starting quarterback was going to be Ben Bryant? Aaron?
Well, he had.
I had Orr.
Right.
Oh yeah, or yeah, that's the right way.
Yeah. So like we will talk a shit ton of basketball next week. I'm down to talk a shit ton of basketball. I'm just saying.
Hey,
every conversation changes.
Let's hope some news drops then. You know, that's a week away. Some news did drop and for another team, which was positive. I saw it today. I'm looking it up real fast. There was a 2-time transfer that was granted eligibility. If I find the tweet, it was I don't know. There we go. Little Rocks, KK Robinson received a waiver from the NCAA and is eligible for the 2023-24 season. 2-time transfer was at Texas A&M and Arkansas, so you're saying there's a chance. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, we'll dive more basketball next week. Schedule release, obviously, will be held up in that one as well, and just we'll talk a tale of two cities next week on the pod. But let's go and timestamp, and we'll head into the mailbag.
Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. Quick Paper services over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next-day deliveries, providing a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick 513-470-2029. Reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
All right.
Yeah, buddy.
Here we go with it's a decently deep mailbag. So
Hell yeah.
all right. Starting off in the football portion of the mailbag. I noticed several Bearcat defenders slipping on the natural turf at BYU, leading to wide open touchdowns. Who's responsible for getting our guys into the right shoes for the turf? Coaches, equipment managers, what can you tell us about the process? Are there any more games on grass this year? I remember a comment about the grass being cut high at BYU. Was that Cunningham? I believe it was Cunningham who said that.
It was Cunningham.
I'm not even going to dive too much into it being that much of a factor. It just happens in football sometimes. I mean, there are occasions where if it rained and it's going to be extremely muddy, there are like secondary cleats that are more like bigger spikes, but you wear the same cleats kind of every week, regardless of the turf versus grass.
Do you think it was the
not even worth the
Royer, do you think it was the Tahoma 31 Bermuda grass that was at the Super Bowl this past year?
Oh yeah, that nightmare. Yeah, it must have been that.
Man.
Hey, I'm a grass guy, so I'm all for the grass. No.
Hey, Kathy, let's see if your outside voice will let your comments into the.
Wait, what did Kathy say?
She told me to use my inside voice, so I'm telling her to use her outside voice to see if that.
So you must have raised your voice like an hour ago, right? Oh gosh.
All right. Asking about are there any more games on grass? You got Oklahoma State. So. I'm not sure if Oklahoma State is or not down in Texas. Then Houston.
Oklahoma is not in Texas. Oklahoma's.
I'm sorry. You're right. I'm tired.
Aaron,
Oklahoma State. I was thinking Houston, Texas.
It's pretty close though.
Oklahoma State, Houston, and West Virginia, but
Houston's turf. Well, okay. Oklahoma State though did make the Tahoma 31 Bermuda grass, so who knows? It was developed by Oklahoma State University, so I don't know. Buy those cleats. Buy those deep cleats real quick. Fired up.
All right. What would you say was the best performance after a bye over the past 10 years?
This is a Royer question, so Royer, get ready to line it up.
Moving on.
Can Royer give a background of what happened that led to it, if there was anything significant? Do you remember who you even had after all of the byes?
No,
while you were in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I don't. I honestly, and I don't know if I really want to go through the schedule each year, the past 2017 through 22.
Oh, too bad we're doing it.
Wait, no, didn't we fucking we had Notre Dame off a bye, right?
Yes, we did.
Perfect.
Yeah.
There it is. That's the
We were
best
on the
one.
team. Notre
Let's
Dame after a bye. There you go, baby.
We beat IU. We had a bye, and we went into the fighting Freemans.
Notre Dame
The
Stadium.
Kellys, actually, they were the
A
Kellys.
background of what happened is we won. Good job.
Well,
All right.
there was also hey, here's another good one. How about 2020? You play that kind of hogslog game against USF at home, and then you travel to SMU, who was ranked number 16th in the country, and y'all take down SMU 42-13.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Desmond Ritter party. I mean, hey, after a bye, there's a little success out here.
Yeah. We were a good bye team when I was there.
I'd be happy with 2 red zone touchdowns at this point.
Yes.
Yeah. It could happen.
All right. At what point does Lichtenberg replace Emory Jones? What would have to happen for the
Oh,
staff to
wow.
look to the team's future? I don't.
Come on, guys. That's just like, do you say it out loud before you hit send? Just let's think here.
I don't see what that does for your season.
The coaches
Brady
know that
Lichtenberg
somebody
is not
else.
better than Emory Jones.
The coaches know that somebody else is better than their starter, but they're gonna play this guy and lose games because they don't want the guaranteed however many millions on their contract.
For those keeping track, Emory had 256 yards in the air, 94 on the ground, accounted for 340 yards against BYU. Just saying.
Yeah.
Three touchdowns through the air. Hey, Royer, 2019, you guys lost against Ohio State. We won't mention that. But the next game following at Marshall, I believe you saw the field of that one.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
was out there.
baby. That was
The
a
fall
drubbing.
of the Bolden Empire. That Marshall game
That was a
ended
drubbing.
Bolden's career, running in a straight line on kickoff in the garbage time.
Huntington, West Virginia has never been the same since the Bearcats rolled through there.
Yep.
Chad's spot, Chad's college, the Thundering Herd.
We are Marshall.
Ooh.
All right.
I've never seen the movie.
Are we really just a couple plays away from being 4-1? Make a field goal versus Miami. Don't muff a momentum-killing punt return versus BYU, or throw a pick six on the first series. The question is, would 4-1 be a mirage if we had made those plays, or should we be proceeding into Game 6 like that? 4-1, not 2-3, is who we really are. You are what your record says you are.
No, but he does have a point.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
if you're 4-1 right now and you're going into Iowa State, Baylor, Oklahoma State, 3 teams that have struggled, and you've got a significant momentum, you're looking at potentially 7-1, 6-2 in your inaugural Big 12 season.
Oh, what could have been. Now all we can do is do 5-3 to salvage this horrendous.
And instead, they're wearing pants with pee stains down the leg.
They wash those out. Come on, man.
Maybe shit stains.
Those are harder to get out. Especially in the white ones. What was the most shocking thing about the BYU loss from an execution perspective? Number 1, continued ineffectiveness with pass blocking. Number 2, very little pressure on the quarterback when that is supposedly a hallmark of a Brian Brown defense. Number 3, no turnovers forced. Number 4, continued lack of playmaking in critical moments / no luck whatsoever from the football gods.
Good list from Killer V. They hit on about everything that we talked about, why we lost. Shocking, I would say it's not shocking that we're not capitalizing in critical scenarios because that's proven to be something we've struggled with. Shocking is probably no sacks, the no pressure.
Yeah,
on the
I would agree. Because honestly, if you do that and create a little havoc, I mean, sure you dominated the first 29 minutes of the game defensively, but you create that little extra havoc, like you said, you get a turnover in positive territory, and all of a sudden you got the momentum even higher than it's been all game, and you maybe punch in the score. But
Or it might have negated one of their touchdowns too.
right.
The conversation around the team has rapidly changed. Do you believe or agree with the statement that this team is talent deficient, especially as it pertains to the teams we've played and will play? According to ESPN Analytics, for whatever that's worth, UC is the favorite to win every game but UCF and at West Virginia, albeit all but I think one of them fall within the 60 to 40 range. We need to win at least 4 of these coin flip games. What are the major factors to get that done and play a bowl game for a solid year one? To Royer, how big of a role do you think coaching plays in the coin flip type games?
Plays 90% of it. Well, I mean, that means you got to put your players in the place to succeed, and your players got to go execute. But I think we have the guys that can and will execute if put in the right spot, and I think we have guys that can kind of make plays on, like, go out there and make plays and just be a gamer too. So I don't think it's necessarily a lack of talent. I do think our secondary and our linebackers are not as deep as we're used to having, and I think that would help. But I don't think we have an all-in-all lack of talent on the team. I think we have a really talented quarterback, talented receivers, talented D-line, talented running backs. There are some holes.
Talented interior offensive line.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about as much as I'd say.
All right. Curious of how much of Satterfield's results and reputation from Louisville are repeating themselves. For example, I heard during the hire from Louisville fans that his offense did a great job moving to the ball in the middle of the field, but struggled in the red zone. Feels like that's true here too. How much does the data back that up from his time at Louisville in terms of red zone scoring, and anecdotally anything else you see as trends that are coming to life here based on his time at Louisville?
I mean, I don't think the standard. I think the standard needs to be higher here than how he was at Louisville for sure. I think 8-4 should be this should be the lowest bar for Cincinnati football. I don't think we should accept anything less than that. And he did kind of have somewhat of a resume of that in Louisville, and you hear that he had trouble kind of finding ways to win games and but he found ways to lose them sometimes. And I mean, that's kind of happening right now.
I just want to point out that there is not a single team in the new Big 12, the 4 teams that joined the Big 12, none of them have won a game against a former Big 12 team. The only team with a win currently is BYU in the Big 12, and that's over Cincinnati.
I just don't think that can be an excuse. I think we can't. I kind of hate the narrative of, it's like, what's realistic? Yeah, it's realistic we make a bowl game, but I hate saying that, and I don't think that should ever be the bar.
The only point I'm trying to make is we put together a team off the waiver wire, essentially, right? Whereas Gus Malzahn had been there for several years, and BYU's coach was also new, I believe. This is his first year.
No, he's been there a while.
Has he?
Yeah.
And then we all know.
It just feels like
Dana.
It just feels like but we should have been in. Like, the record we have is unbelievable that we're 2-3, and it is calling back to, like, if what they're saying about him, like, it is kind of aligning in some ways that we are 2-3 and we should be 4-1. How much of that is Satterfield's fault? You can't blame it all on him. You can't blame it all on anyone. But I do think that there are, in my opinion, there are signs pointing towards what's been said.
Since when did we listen to Louisville fans about anything?
They have a
Who
point,
gives
is
a
what I'm saying.
fuck about these people?
I'm just saying the words that
Their
are being said. You
athletic
can
department
remove.
was a complete and absolute dumpster fire when he was the coach there. They
I know.
hired Bobby Petrino for a second time after he got caught with his side piece and he wore a neck brace, acting like he didn't know what the hell was going on. They stole money from the foundation. They lie, they cheat, they steal their way into the ACC. I don't give a fuck what Louisville fans say. I don't
Just
care.
take the title of who's saying it off of them, and you just
can't
look
do
at
that.
it objectively.
They're
If you're looking at it
unhinged.
objectively, we're 2-3.
They're 5-0,
Well,
and
if
all
you-
they care
we
about
gotta-
is
we gotta
Scott
win.
Satterfield.
If
We
you
gotta
if you
win.
if you take that
Scott's
off of them,
trying to get us
Ryan,
there.
the Appalachian State people, they still love Satterfield.
I know, but we gotta win fucking games. That's what
So,
it's about.
all
I'm
right.
not saying he's a bad guy or he's doing a bad job. It's just that we're losing games we should have won, and that can't be the trend.
But Aaron, kind of backing up what you were saying, Sataki's been at BYU since 2016, so the kind of
Okay.
like all of them should be further along and furthermore prepared.
Correct.
But
Yes.
I mean, it's just only one
I think
win to
we
show.
have the roster, and we played plenty good enough to be 4-1. So we're
I
capable,
completely
and we're
agree.
not there. So it's
Yep.
like I'm. That's kind of my take is that
I agree.
it's not like we're like inept and that like
Yeah.
we can just give every
Just-
excuse.
Be glad that we didn't lose a game like UCF lost to Baylor.
Real
We did.
quick.
Miami. Miami
This
is
is
damn.
not the
I
I'm
feel like it's worse.
2017 Bearcats that should have went 1-11.
Yeah, no, complete opposite of that actually, Chad. But no, so Aaron, I was at a bar in Cocoa area, and it like we had no idea. It was just a sports bar, a bunch of TVs on, gonna watch all the games. It was a UCF bar, but there was probably 20 to 30, UCF fans there. They had the sound on. They turned the sound off of that game and flipped over to the Georgia game because they were like, this is a blowout. And then like just quietly, I kept on looking over at the UCF game. And slowly Baylor just kept on coming back into it. And these UCF fans started losing it, trying to tell them to turn the sound back on. And they're like, no, this Georgia game's better. We're keeping it on the Georgia game. And I was just like kind of chirping a little bit, but it was a sight to see. When that field goal went short and left, I was like, wow.
I'm surprised there were that many fans there.
Me too. Me too, if I'm being honest.
That's about how many fans were in their student section. All right. What coverage and defense did we play against Oklahoma? So much talk on the podcast about us not having a zone defense. Did we install one, or did our man coverage just work better than we thought? Would love an analysis of what led to our defensive success, as I haven't heard the details on any pod yet.
They played a lot of coverage against Oklahoma. I mean, they dropped 7, 8 a lot. It worked. Like the whole plan was to keep things in front, and they did that.
Was that man or was that zone, though, is what the question is.
I mean, a lot of it was like, so when you've got two safeties, like playing over the top, it's, correct me if I'm wrong, Royer, it's kind of a combination of the two, right? Like you're playing man with your corners, but your safeties are playing over the top. Like it's not really a true man or a true like zone, so to speak.
Yeah, you can play hybrid coverages, and that's the thing. I don't know exactly, but I can go talk to Dingle. I probably should have done that. He can give me kind of a good idea of what they've been doing without revealing, too much or anything. But that's like kind of what I was saying before. It's hard for me to really know what they're really doing without like the playbook and the overhead film, where you can actually see shit and what's really going on. But it does feel like they're definitely playing more zone than the Fickle and Freeman defensive days.
All right. Are we overhyping the Fickle era based on the competition he faced? I remember a lot of very close games that if they went the other way, we would be looking at his tenure differently. He did so well here and great coaching and recruiter / developer, but are we expecting too much from Satterfield in year one in comparing him to Fickle, especially with the major step up in competition? Would Fickle have won any more games in the Big 12 this year? His offenses seemed to lose steam last year when Geno took over.
I think we would be 4-1 with Fickle, in my opinion. I just think we'd be a more sound team, and we'd. Was that the dog?
Sound like a door.
What was that?
Gussie letting the dog out.
I mean, yeah, I think the competition is better, but I don't think these teams we've played have been like world beaters. We'll see how Oklahoma does versus Texas. They're obviously a good team. I think we played them well, but I mean, you look at BYU and Pitt, and it's just
Miami, yeah.
they didn't like BYU didn't like blow me away in any regards.
No.
Look at the statistics that we had. What was it? The minus. What were we talking about earlier? I forget. Like the win percentage shit. It's like a game we very should. It's not like what I said before. We're not incompetent. We're not incompetent, and we're not playing terrible.
Right. That's the frustrating part. Like that's the frustrating part.
So it's not like I think like we're outmatched and that we're in some like juggernaut. We've been in this juggernaut schedule.
Yeah.
That like that's why like we won, like we just won all the time because we were playing dog shit teams and now we're playing like great teams. It's like I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think there's teams in that American that would give this BYU team and the Pitt team and the Miami team a run for their money every week too. I just think that when you have an established culture with Fickle for 5 years, I think you win the game. You win this past week. You win the Miami game. I don't think you drop those two games. I think you'd be even closer versus Oklahoma. But yeah, I mean, Satterfield's not Luke Fickle in the playoff year. That's obvious, and he's not going to be that right now. I don't know if he'll ever be that because I personally think Luke Fickle will end up being one of the best coaches in college football. That's my opinion on him.
Oof.
But
I think you're in for a rude awakening, unfortunately, because they have a large hill to climb at Wisconsin right now.
I know, and the way they got their program is similar in ways to where they got our program, and they're going to have chances.
Yeah, it's just Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, USC. Like there's 6 kind of monsters in their way right now that were not in their way in Cincinnati. You had to get over the UCF hump, and that was it.
I mean, year one, though, they're probably going to play in the Big Ten championship game, which is just because they have the stupid divisions. They are 100%.
Yeah.
Who else are you taking out of that side? I mean,
they're gonna win.
Who? Minnesota, Purdue, Iowa, Northwestern, Illinois.
They already beat Purdue. Soundly.
Yeah, maybe it was probably the best chance.
We don't have to go that far down the Fickle line, but
right.
I don't think we're overhyping.
My point being, next year everything changes for Luke, and it is a steep mountain when their schedule changes to look like what it sounds like their schedule is going to look like 2024.
I think if Fickle's still here and Ben is the quarterback, the best we're at right now is maybe 4-1. I'm thinking more 3-2. I think that if Fickle's here and Tanner Mordecai came with him, well, then I think we're probably still at 2-3. I don't believe in Tanner Mordecai at all.
I don't think we would have lost versus Miami. I swear to God.
I don't either.
Bet my house.
I don't either.
And I bet you we win. We beat BYU.
I don't just based on the offense that he had been running, and if Geno's still at the helm of the OC, I don't believe that at all.
I don't know if we. Do you think we make some of the mistakes we make? Do you think we muff the punt? Do you think?
No, I don't think you did.
A couple?
No, Chad, you're muted.
What is he saying?
You guys made a lot of mistakes. You were just playing shitty teams that you were able to escape.
I'm telling you, it's not like
Style points, Ryan. Remember style points? Remember for 2 years it was all about style points?
I know.
And you guys bring nail biters with
Do you remember when
ECU and Tulsa?
we should have beat Georgia, who's been the best college football team? Damn, it's looking they could be the best college football promo of the decade. We went to the playoff.
That was a better
when
roster,
we gave
though.
Tulsa 8 snaps at the 1 yard line.
That was a good Tulsa team, is what I'm saying. Is these teams aren't terrible. Like you
They
take
weren't-
the, I'm telling you, BYU. I watched. If you take that BYU team and how they played versus us, did they look like anything special?
Did they look like a team that beat Arkansas at Arkansas?
I'm just
I mean,
telling you.
SMU gave Oklahoma a game at Oklahoma. I see what Ryan's saying, and I think it's just more of a.
And Tulsa got the piss beat out of them at Tulsa.
Well,
Well,
Oklahoma
yeah,
does
that
this,
Tulsa
though.
team's
They
terrible.
peaks and valleys. Oklahoma
So-
peaks
Oh,
and
now the
valleys.
Tulsa team's terrible.
I didn't say Tulsa. I said SMU.
SMU's
Oh.
not good.
But you're saying that like Tulsa, that we were talking about the Tulsa of 3 years ago. But
2
my
years
point
ago,
is-
1 year ago.
my point is that Luke would have had access to the same transfer portal that everyone has access to. So we
Tanner
can't
Mordecai,
really-
come on down.
I don't think he would have called in Tanner Mordecai, but I think it's more of a like
Look, that's a
Jaheim.
character flaw. I'm thinking Tanner Mordecai was the answer as a character flaw. I'm sorry. I'll text Luke right now.
All right.
He was so afraid of him. Like he was like this.
You guys kicked that guy's ass for 3 years.
I know.
Kicked his ass. It wasn't even close. You dominated him.
I know.
After the loss on Friday, I was wondering who in the locker room are holding each other accountable at halftime or on the sideline when momentum swings. Who have you guys seen as the vocal leaders on this team? Keegan just posted a great article in the locker room, but I'm curious on everyone's thoughts.
No idea. I have no idea.
Ryan would know better than us. Like, he knows guys in the locker room. I think
No idea.
the holdovers are pissed off. I think some of the new guys are kind of thinking like this was going to be maybe a little easier than it has been. I don't know. We're going to find out in the next 3 weeks. That's what I'll tell you, Cincy fan. We're going to find out because these are 3 winnable games. Iowa State, Baylor, Oklahoma State, 3 winnable games. Do they win?
If we win all those, we're still 5-3. That just does not sound good still.
5-3? What do you mean that doesn't sound good?
Just sounds bad. Like, oh, we're 5-3. Just doesn't sound good. Sounds like shit.
I'd gladly take 5 and 3.
Spend 5 years playing.
I
in the Big
know.
12, really.
Ryan's like, I only lost 3 games the whole time I was there.
I know. I got to adjust.
All right. That is the football portion of the mailbag. Moving on to the basketball portion. Where do you all expect John Newman to fit on this roster, assuming everyone is eligible? Does his system, experience, and defensive skill give him a surgically repaired leg up? Well played. As a potential starter.
Starter. I have a hard time thinking John Newman. If he's not a starter, he's a 6-man.
I have
would
a hard
imagine
time.
Sixth man probably.
I have a hard time picturing John as a starter the entire season. I think that it would. I'm just saying. I think that it would involve him being healthy and Dan not taking a step forward.
Dan
I
can
just
take a step forward while John is still a starter.
CMOS and
John's not
CJ.
Like Dan's question is going to be, can he beat out CJ Frederick?
I mean, CMOS and CJ, I think would start 2-3.
Again, what happens if they don't get any waivers?
Right. I mean, the waiver thing throws everything off.
All of this is so like.
Maybe Vic at the
Up in the
4,
air.
Odie at the 5. Ooh.
No, I mean Vic will start at the 5 if they don't get a waiver. Like
Right.
Vic is going to be the 5, and then do you start probably Odie at the 4 maybe, or do you go small and you go CJ Frederick, Seamus, and Seamoss and Newman with Odie because you need him to provide help at
Rebounding.
5.
Yeah.
Like again, that's why next week, like if we're doing a basketball episode next week, there's going to be a whole lot of I have no idea until we know.
Day, CJ, CMOS, Vic, Odie, or if one of the two
No way.
get
No way they start Vic and Odie at the 4 and 5. If Jamil and
or Aziz, yeah.
Aziz are out, you cannot start those two guys together. What if one of them gets in foul trouble? Like you have to start
Right.
one at the 5 and the
Yeah.
other is backup.
Let's say
as the
yes,
6th man.
and then you bump down CMOS to the 4,
CMOS to the 4, then
and
Newman
then
at
have
the 3,
Vic and
CJ
Newman
at
at
the 2.
3. Right. Or Dan. Right. It'll be interesting.
We don't know until the waivers are decided. We have no idea what
if one of the two get it, or if both of them get it, I think it's Vic at the 4, and then whoever gets the waiver at the 5, and then
you're probably right. Yeah.
CMOS at the 3,
and if
CJ
neither
at
of them
do, Day at the 1.
If neither of them get it, and either Vic or Odie gets injured, oh boy.
Sage Tolentino, baby. Dining Hawaiian.
Oh boy. Any basketball scrimmages or events for homecoming?
Not that I've heard at this point.
All right. Quick and easy. With the bye week in football, are there any plans for extra basketball content this week? When Brent wants to do a whole show.
Dude, you guys think it's hilarious, but I mean, we can talk about it,
it's
independent
hypotheticals.
players.
It's all hypotheticals.
That's what a preview is. Preview is hypothetical.
No.
Yes, it is.
Then enjoy the show by yourself. You and Ryan can do the show. I don't know anything yet.
All right. Well, then let's recap the game that happened on Saturday. Then that'll be good.
I'm just saying we don't know. The whole answer to everything is going to be I don't know.
Right, but you said practice is obviously underway and stuff. We can get little practice updates, little tidbits here and there.
Guess what? Jamil and Aziz are practicing.
I know. We see in the pictures. In the
what
vids.
I can talk about is those two practicing. But what I can't talk about is what if neither of them are eligible? Because I can't talk about practice without them.
Right, but
they're not practicing without them.
We can also talk at length. If they're eligible, this is this. If they're ineligible, this is this. That'd be good. I'm excited.
Can't wait. What basketball record could be broken by this year's team or player, and why? Most players on scholarship sitting out would be a record that would be broken.
What, 2? That's not even. No, I bet more have sat out than just 2.
When you have 15?
Well, and you might have a red shirt.
Scholarship.
Maybe you get a red shirt. Who knows? Maybe I don't know.
That's
3, 4.
It's not sitting out though. I'd say
red shirt is absolutely sitting out every game.
Yeah, but it could be a situational red shirt where it's okay, we need you to play type thing. So sitting out ineligible is just you are out.
That's
what about block shots by one of the guys who are currently awaiting the waiver?
We don't know.
It could. They could. You're right. It could. But I will take Eric Hick's record of 110 block shots.
Yeah.
And guess that nobody is going to top that this year.
Tough record to top.
Here's the problem. Cincinnati is a top 10 program of all time. So the records are lofty.
A lot of records.
Breaking records for any team.
Landers didn't break any of the 3-point records, did he?
No, he came close.
Did Davenport?
Maybe percentage, I think.
I still think
with volume,
Field and Lizzell had a higher percentage.
Right. Yeah, he was top 3 in 2. I think made and.
But I don't think anybody was number 1. I don't think they didn't break any records last year.
No.
So I'm not
highest NIT attendance at an NIT game, maybe. Go, Aaron.
How are you feeling about Jace coming here? Cool, warm, or hot? Perry also.
Warm on Jace. I mean, it's Cincinnati, his dad's alma mater, for the coach that his dad played for Alabama that has put a lot of chips on that table. I don't think Cincinnati's running number one. So warm. Perry, I would say it's Cincinnati or Ole Miss, so I would go hot there because it's 50-50. And again, we'll see where that is after his visit.
I have no idea how Izzo's still coaching with all the firestorms Michigan State has had over the years. My God, he is...
Because everybody else is such a shit show that Izzo is untouchable. Like there's legitimate.
He's a cockroach.
Force field over Izzo because there's so much crazy shit that happens at that place.
He's a cockroach surviving nuclear holocaust.
He's won one championship and been to like 2 or 3 Final Fours, and that's it. He's been there for 30 years.
Yeah, but there was a span where every guy had been on a Final Four team for like 15 years or something.
It was like every 4 years.
Yeah.
Like he managed. He just stopped by it.
Yeah.
January, February Izzo. Come on now. You know this.
All right. That is the...
It's
He's
like
been to
Bears fans
1,
that think they're
2,
gonna fire Zach
3,
Taylor
4,
after going
5.
to an AFC championship and a Super Bowl.
Wish they would.
Looks like he's been to
Not happening.
eight Final Fours for Mr. Izzo.
And 1 championship.
Right.
Back with Mateen Cleaves dancing on one leg.
In the year 2000.
Which should have went to another team, but
Anyway.
that's neither here nor there.
All right. Rapid fire Taylor Swift edition.
Hell yeah.
Who is more irritating? Who is the more irritating NFL spouse? Brittany Mahomes or Brenda Warner? For you
Brenda
young pups,
Warner.
that's Kurt
lunatic.
Warner's wife.
She was crazy. Batshit crazy, Linda Warner.
What would she
Brenda
do? I don't remember her.
I don't know anything about her.
Nuts. Like it just said off the cuff, like just crazy, like super religious, like batshit crazy type things.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go Brittany Mahomes.
Brittany Mahomes is just crazy because she hangs out with his brother.
Is Jackson tied in with
Criminal.
Brittany or are we
Yeah.
saying
Well,
just
even
Brittany?
the stuff that she was doing, spraying everybody with champagne. I don't know.
Oh, would you do that if you won?
I want her. I want her going down with a banana peel with the entire O'Doyle family. Get out of here.
That's why we got T Swift, baby. Next.
Anyway, best Taylor Swift song. They're all terrible.
Aaron, what's your pick?
I couldn't tell you one.
Gosh, I hope there's some Swift.
I like Enchanted.
Oh wow, you took mine.
Let's go.
God. Isn't it amazing, dude? That song.
Yeah, it's great.
Like
Good
that
song.
intro, the build, and then.
All right, Taylor Swift or Carrie Underwood.
Wait, we didn't get Chad's favorite.
He's
Taylor
gone.
Swift.
He left. Taylor Swift or Carrie Underwood. Carrie Underwood.
Oh,
Name a legendary Carrie Underwood song.
I think I like Taylor Swift more.
Sunday Night Football.
Right, that's it. That's all you got. The Sunday Night Football song.
good job. Good job.
I'll take it.
Quick
Wait,
Quick,
the cheater one?
before he cheats.
Before he cheats on me.
Yeah.
The
I
cheater
stuck
one.
my
Or-
key into the
Yeah.
side of this.
Whatever the
Yeah,
hell
that
that one.
So a quick Carrie Underwood story. So I was
All right.
Oh my God.
This
Follow
is a
up
Carrie
question.
Underwood story and not a Taylor story. You got to let him tell the Carrie Underwood story if you hate Taylor.
He muted his mic. I don't know where
Oh,
he
you
went.
made him big man. Big man.
Aaron
Yeah,
did
story.
that. Wait, Aaron did that.
Oh, Aaron
Wow.
did. Yeah,
Wow.
that was Aaron.
Very
This is
interesting.
supposed to be
Aaron.
rapid fire, and you're
Very
pulling a Chad.
interesting move,
This
Aaron.
is supposed to be
Tell the
I'm
story.
gonna
rapid
Carrie
fire.
Underwood
It's not a
story for everyone out
story.
there. working
Let
at
him
an
tell
event
the
center,
story.
and they were doing a sound check, and I was like 5 feet away from her, and I looked up, and I was like, is that Carrie Underwood? And then they were doing sound check, and like there was a big loud boom, and she looked down at me, and she was like, well, that was a little weird. And I was like, yeah, that was a little weird, Carrie. And she was in a disguise. They weren't supposed to know it was her, and there I was, me and Carrie, having a one-on-one connection.
You know what's a little weird? Doing a 2.5-hour podcast on a bye week. It's awesome.
Hey, it gives people something to do, Aaron.
Monday of next week is the bye week podcast.
We didn't even preview anything. Unbelievable.
We never preview.
Oh, Aaron, we don't on this show. Do you not pay attention? We don't do that on this show.
We do always find a way to make this show long as hell.
Hey, people listen though, don't they? All right.
Yeah.
Follow-up question, Chad. If Brent and I can pull some money together, how much would it take for Aaron to do a Taylor Swift cover to start the Banks portion of the mailbag? You can't afford me.
I will do it.
Nobody
I will
wants
do
that.
it.
Nobody wants that.
You can't
Aaron
afford me.
says he can sing. Let's
Look.
freaking hear it.
$500.
Oh, wait, that would be good.
$500. I'll have Aaron do "Cruel Summer" at the end of the mailbag.
Lock it.
I make my price. You don't make my price. I make my price.
All right. What's the
You
price?
can do that for 500?
No, it would be more than that.
Wow.
Anyway,
What? I'll do it.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing anything Taylor Swift.
I'll
You can't
figure
buy
do
back.
that with the lawyer and let him keep all 500.
You can't
I'll
buy
do
back
that.
your dignity.
Flip
All right.
You're still here.
When Brent gets married, what's more likely, during football season or during basketball season?
Neither, Merc.
Football season,
Football.
100%.
0% chance. It's
I
gonna be.
I need 6 weeks off because I'm getting married and then going on.
It's gonna be summertime.
honeymoon.
Taylor
I'm getting
Swift
married
is
in
gonna perform.
Alaska and then going on a month-long honeymoon in Australia.
No,
Swift is gonna perform at the wedding. Just wait. For
He would take the full cruise around the world from Alaska.
Yeah, and Taylor Swift will be
Ending in
there.
Australia, and then
Anyway,
Sure.
All right, next.
You guys are funny.
would Aaron rather watch an FC Cincy playoff game or the AAC Football Conference Championship game? Also, what are the funds needed to send Aaron to watch a noon AAC basketball game at ECU? Again, you can't afford me.
FC Cincy playoff game.
Yes, you
100%.
can. You said
No.
you can't afford me, and they can absolutely afford you.
No, they can't. You're going to send me to ECU instead of spending the weekend with my
Aaron.
daughter? No, they can't afford
Aaron,
that.
here's $2,000 to go to ECU for a Saturday basketball game.
No one's UC Merck is not doing that. Look at the
I
person
know
asking the
you
question.
said
You
said
don't
there's
know.
no price. There is a price. Is my point.
It's
All it
different
takes is
than having
$2,000.
Taylor Swift.
Ooh, that's enticing.
Brent,
That's
$2,000. We'll send Aaron to ECU.
That's enticing.
For a Sunday noon tip.
It's not happening. Going to ECU. All right.
That's damn enticing right there.
Aaron, say this. Irish wristwatch. Cool story. That was weird, but also-
I think
Also-
I think you just
Aaron
passed
this
the test. That was pretty good.
also, Aaron, have you ever looked up Aaron in the Urban Dictionary? No. Why would anyone look up their name? And I don't
I'll
ever
look
get
it
on
up.
Urban Dictionary.
I'll
I
look
did
it
that
up
in
real
like
quick.
high school, college, not in my, I'm almost 40, D-Monk. Not on
Oh,
Urban
wow.
Dictionary.
Oh, Aaron, before you get all mad, listen to this. I mean, one of them is Aaron is a sweet, loving, caring guy who will never let you down. Being near to him will give you butterflies and make you ungodly happy. So before you get off the whole edge of things,
It's
But,
just weird.
a couple other ones are pretty bad.
That's the show. Get us out of here, Brent.
Yeah, just read only the first one.
A couple other ones are pretty bad.
All right. Well, hey, you know what? Another good show. The Cats are 2-3, but they shouldn't be based off the stats.
Wait, Chad didn't go on a rant that whole mailbag. Can we go back to
Yeah,
one of those
let's
questions?
get a mailbag rant. Chad, you didn't say your T
I
Swift
have enough
favorite
rants
song.
during the show.
Your teeth-
He ranted about Louisville. What are you talking about? He lost his whole mind because someone asked a question. It was the first question in the mailbag because they asked about comparing him to his Louisville days. Chad's head exploded. There was a stump of a neck left of Chad by the time he was finished with that rant.
Well,
I always
you know,
look my Chad rant at the end at the rapid
Roy,
fire.
we didn't get
telling a
the
story.
rapid fire rant because it was Taylor Swift and Aaron got all weird. So it was like that was
Yeah.
completely thrown off.
Hey,
so.
look, I'm gonna say this straight up. I'll say this about
Yes.
the trailer Travis Kelce thing.
Yeah.
Last night, my daughter sat right here next to me in my office, and we watched Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
And we talked football, and we had a delightful time.
Yes.
So if that's what it brings into my household, more power to it. Because
the most watched football game.
I had a great night with my daughter watching Sunday Night Football.
Yep.
How many times did they show Taylor?
I think 20 was the number.
Thank you so much for commenting here so I could block your ass, Rob 1982.
What would the Rob say?
Thank you so much for taking Scott Satterfield off our hands. Thank you so much for commenting in the chat so I can block your ass. You can never comment here again.
They're active. Well, hey, Chad, I think that's what everyone's experiencing is that, you know what? You get to sit there and watch.
5-0. Cheer for your fucking team. What are you doing? Watch this podcast.
I was still on the Taylor Swift thing, but you know what? I agree. Yeah. 1040 in Louisville up in the mentions. It's cool. We'll take it. We'll take it. But hey,
team, you got your dream coach, Jeff Fromm. Congratulations. Go Louisville. You'll be 7-5. It'll be awesome. I hope Marcus Freeman kicks your dick in the dirt on Saturday.
I will.
Enjoy that Papa John's afterwards. Another fun thing last night, Chad. Sauce Gardner, Travis Kelce, Brian Cook, Cincinnati's on center stage as well. So big time.
Yeah. Jersey exchange at the end of the game. Center field, right there, center stage. Travis and Sauce chopping it up. Doesn't get any better than that.
Not too bad for the brand. But hey, big shout out, big thank you. Obviously, bye week, Iowa State getting ready to come up a little later. But hey, we're gonna have a wall-to-wall basketball pod next Monday. Cannot wait. It's gonna be so much fun. But hey, big shout out as always.
3 hours for Aaron.
Big shout out as always to Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Big shout out to Quick Paper Supply for their timestamps, and also a quick shout out to Home Field Apparel for sponsoring the mailbag. Aside from that, hey, for my guys, my pals, partners in crime when it comes to Monday nights, Aaron Smith, Chad Brendo, and Ryan Royer. I am Brent Young, and another fantastic BBP presented by BearcatJournal.com.